Alright, let's try this again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the beginning of the stream! Yeah, y'all made it! So I'm still waiting for Walker and Ambius to join me, but if you have Astroneer on Steam, you can add Binary Ablaze. Give me 1 second. And join in on the game. It should be fun. So I have switched my audio stuff. You can join us, Disillusioned. Go for it.
Oh, there's the audio.
Yeah, there's the audio.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I also had to switch mine because it was on the wrong thing.
Oh noes. Oh noes. So I am in Discord chat. They can't see everything yet, Ambius. So
Okay.
I switched to running voice meter, so if any audio is messed up or needs adjusted, please tell me so I can fix it.
Alrighty. Same here. I haven't used this mic in so long. I don't know if it's set up correctly.
Alright.
Let me find a bottle opener for completely unrelated reasons.
Moo.
Aye. Alright. Moo? Is that a walker?
Moo.
That is a walker. Okay, so I'm going to switch over the stream screen so everybody can see what's going on as soon as I get that correct.
Twitch.
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on. Capture a specific window. There we go. So why does it have all this other things going on? Oh, this is always fun. I'm always like, yeah, I got this. I got this ready. And then the real answer is no, I never have this ready. Okay, game capture. I know somebody had wanted it larger last time. So we're gonna make it as large as I can without ruining anything. Okay. There we go. Alright. Make sure I have chat where I can see it. Hey, Susie! So, I have a very disobedient or naughty dog in my lap, which is why there's no dog on dog cam. Yeah, you remember that sound during Daily Space where I was like, my dog's just, distracting me?
Yeah.
She was chewing through something.
Oh, was it a cable? Well, please say it was a cable.
No, it was not a cable walker. It was... It's like this rattan...
Wait, which dog was chewing?
Tinker.
Because I was expecting, electric shock and just Einstein hair on that.
How bad is the ambient noise from my end? Because, I'm using the monitor and it sounds like every single screech I make is like...
It's not bad. It's not bad. But yeah, guys, I have the game up and open. So if you want to join on me, go for it. And I tried to do some boring stuff last night off of stream. But the biggest thing is there's now a tiny spacecraft. And I could probably make more of them.
Now, in my single player game, I just got to a point where I'm trying to mine for titanium. And it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
Because you need it's funny because you need a crane, and to make a crane you need titanium. So you need titanium to mine titanium.
Yeah, I think you're able to get
Trade post.
Yeah, the trade post.
Oh, right. I should probably use that. I try not to use the trade post because it feels like cheating.
It's not cheating. It's not.
I know because it's in the game, but it feels like the easy way out.
It's just a little cheatsy doodle.
Yeah, I want to mine that thing. I want to find a vein and
You only get, for 4 scrap, you only get 1 titanium. Or something like that.
Yes, hold on. Let me adjust the game volume because it's really loud.
Yeah.
I have no idea where the hell I am.
Oh no. Are you in the game, Walker?
Oh, I'm in the game.
You're in the right game.
Okay.
Are you in the right game? I'm asking.
Yeah, right game.
You just popped into a vehicle. Alright, so...
I apparently am underground.
Oh. Maybe you're somewhere around here?
He should have a beacon. We all will have beacons, which when we're far away we can see each other. So I'm in orange, Ambius is in blue.
Yep.
Walker we don't know, because we don't even know where Walker is. Poor Walker.
I don't know why my vehicle's underground.
Because it's buggy. That's why.
How long has this game been out?
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, the most hilarious bug I went through is I was purposefully underground, and then I went over, I think, a vent or a stream, and I suddenly shot up through the air, through the ceiling of the cave, and, like, almost into space.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me.
I can fly. Oh, wait, I shouldn't sing that song.
No, please no copyrighted.
Oh, that's not even the reason.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, don't, please. I don't know why you're saying I shouldn't, but don't please.
Yeah, if there's a reason, then you probably shouldn't.
Or killing.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay, so there's a cave here, but I need
There's a cave entrance like closer to base that has things. Tethers.
Yeah,
Already.
Oh god, no!
Don't die, Walker. I mean, actually, if you die, you'll come back to base.
yeah. That's a shortcut.
That's totally a shortcut to come back.
Oh, but where's the adventure in that?
Yeah, that's true.
Do boring things. I made a rover somewhere.
Yeah, that's nice.
Or did
I only made I made a rover, only the small ones, like the tractor, and with pulleys and stuff behind it. But then, like, every single planet I went to, I just like made a home base wherever I felt like I should have stayed.
That's not a bad strategy. It really isn't. No, I guess I didn't make any rovers. I just have the tractors, which are fine. Yeah, that didn't need to be upright. I can just knock that over.
Yeah, and as for what was I gonna say? I don't remember. Oh yeah, here's the cave. Just don't go back.
Don't fall in.
I'm surfing.
Do you have the achievement yet, where if you surf for so long?
I think I do. I
Was
got
it 14 seconds?
I think it's like 10? I'm not sure. I feel like I
Let me
need
look.
to.
Yeah, like when I started playing, I just like it's that thing where you do everything for the first time and you get tons of achievements and you just ignore them.
One does not simply ignore the achievable.
Yes, they do.
Well, normal people don't. I'm not normal.
I know. Neither am I. It's okay.
Yeah, like ooh, sphalerite.
Yeah, you're right, it is 10 seconds.
Pretty sure I got it, but I don't remember. I'll have to check. Oh wait, you can do stuff within the game, can't you? Like,
Yeah,
there's a Steam overlay something.
Shift tab?
Yeah,
On
Shift
American
tab.
keyboard-ish?
Alright, how do I check my achievements?
I don't know what it is on foreign keyboards.
And our keyboard is pretty much American.
I've handled enough foreign keyboards to be like, most of the things I'm used to are in the normal spot.
Yeah, with the occasional like dollar sign being replaced by a euro sign and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
no, surprisingly, our keyboard is just an American keyboard with Hebrew letters like pasted next to it. Like a lot of keyboards are just paste.
Like, here, have some stickers.
Yeah. I actually used to sell those stickers for like people who bought laptops abroad because it was much cheaper, and they're like, oh wait, I can't type on this. For me, the solution for that is just to like memorize. Like, I blind type, but.
Is there a big import tax on technology like there is in Brazil?
Ooh, yeah. Our import tax in technology is pretty big, and that's in addition to our value-added tax, which is pretty big. But how do I compare it? Let's say that, like, I'm trying to think like of measures. Like for phones, it's pretty insane. Like it would cost sometimes twice than it does with the States.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's like that in Brazil too.
Yeah, and like it changes depending on the. It depends on a lot of things. Like if it's something that's imported in bulk, it will probably be cheaper. But still, just the taxes alone are enough to make it super expensive. So a lot of people just order stuff from abroad when they can, and pray that it doesn't get stopped in customs. Because if it does, you'll still get it. You'll just pay the difference.
Right.
And it's still sometimes cheaper than buying it locally. I don't.
I remember ages and ages and ages ago I brought, I think it was like a PlayStation 2 to Brazil, and I think even now I could bring a PlayStation 3 to Brazil and still make enough to pay off my plane ticket.
Yeah.
At least like one half of the plane ticket. Be like, that's kind of scary, because there's PlayStations and stuff are super cheap here. Well, the older PlayStations, not the newer ones.
Yeah, it's not that expensive here because it's a very popular product, and the more popular it is, the more likely it is to be massively imported.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like an official Sony. I don't know if it's actually Sony themselves, but there's like a company who I don't know what's the word for it. They're like the official Sony
distributor.
Yeah, distributor. That was what I was looking for. So they get it pretty cheap, and like they get because they're a big company, they pay less taxes basically.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, so the big brands are usually easier to import. If it's PlayStation, if it's like phones, it's Samsung. Samsung is basically the go-to phone here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like recently the Chinese stuff is becoming more popular because that's true everywhere, I think.
Yeah, it's cheaper than the Samsungs and whatnot.
Yeah, and the quality is not as bad as it used to. Like some of the Chinese brands are actually pretty good these days.
Yeah, I remember my Kenyan friends would get Chinese phones all the time. I'd be like, why? Just that's what they could afford, and some of the Chinese phones could have 2 different SIM cards. So they could have a Kenyan SIM card, and then they could have, their US SIM card.
Yeah, and apparently the 2 SIM cards thing is very popular in Asia because they have different carriers for data and for calls and SMSs and stuff like that, because I don't remember why, but like one company's very cheap for calls and not internet, and the other company's the opposite, so they just get 2.
I mean, it works.
Yeah.
Both companies get their money.
Yeah, and like it's apparently still cheaper than if they made a combined plan in one of the companies.
That's just wild to me.
Yeah, but that's the reason. Like, if you get a Chinese phone, it will most likely have 2 SIM slots.
It's I was thinking like more along the lines of like if you lived in Hong Kong but worked in mainland China, which happens a lot. You know, you'd have one SIM country or one SIM card for each, you know, area. I shouldn't say country, but each area.
Yeah. Okay, so I found like one of those boxes where you put a mineral in and it gives you science, basically.
Yeah.
I'm trying to identify the mineral. I think this is like the malachite. No.
It should be the laterite.
Yeah, I think it's the laterite. The one. Do I have laterite? Just wonder if I have some. No. All I have is zinc.
I'm still trying to get out.
I'm telling you, just die.
Or just dig upwards. It's also something that eventually works.
The stream borked.
That's what I'm doing.
Network borked. Guido, I think your network's borked. Because I'm not getting anything from OBS. OBS isn't like, hey, we're red.
Yeah, no, the stream looks fine. I have it on the other screen.
We did just have a massive windstorm, but I saw it, you know, my cable company's truck in the neighborhood, so I'm assuming if there was anything broken, they fixed it. Oh, the Fire Stick just froze and now it's buffering some more. I don't know enough about the Fire Stick to be of assistance.
A Fire Stick?
Yeah, Amazon has a thing called the Fire Stick that you just plug into your TV.
Oh, like the Chromecast.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like the Chromecast, only it's Amazon.
Yeah. I remember that was like the one thing preventing me from getting Amazon Video, because I wanted to get it for, I forget which show, but it was apparently good enough show that I considered like subscribing to their service just for that, but it wouldn't work on a Chromecast, and I was like, nope. That's like my life now. My life is basically owned by Google.
Yeah, we watch a lot of the TV through the PlayStation, so the Netflix account's hooked up through there, the Hulu account's hooked up from there, HBO's hooked up through there, like, everything. It's usually very reliable. Maybe my DSL is a bit wonky today, but now it works. I say we blame your DSL. I say we blame your ISP.
Yeah, that's always easy.
It is always easy.
Yep.
Says Walker with the fastest internet.
Hey, I still have Comcast. That's bad enough.
Yeah, but you have, like, super fast speeds.
Oh, just wait till I move.
Ugh, do you hear that, Tinker?
I'm upgrading. Gonna get that gig internet.
I'm like, I don't understand how you can upgrade from what you have.
Gig.
That's disgusting.
Isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I'm on like I think 20 megabits because they don't like I live in one of the fanciest neighborhoods in the city, and the infrastructure here is it's a stream, so I won't say what I was going to say, but it's terrible. So yeah, so they're like, I was gonna upgrade my internet, and they was like, no, you can do that because we can't get it to you. We're basically relying on like, I think 50-year-old phone lines.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be getting that gig internet speed in a trailer park.
You're for sure moving?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. I am so excited.
You and me both.
Ah. I will have to send you cookies to celebrate.
Okay, so I found.
Do you have a sugar-free option for diabetic?
I can make something that is diabetic friendly. Are you on a diabetic diet now?
No, but my mom's died.
Okay, I will make something that your mom can eat. I will make something that isn't full of sugar.
Because I want to share.
Yeah, I'll figure something out.
I think I found the surface.
Yay!
Oh, congrats.
Yeah! Now the next adventure. Figuring out where the hell I am.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we should do the thing where we power on the things. 'Cause I went out gathering clay.
Are we next to an alien thingamajig?
We are kinda. Let me get. Yeah, I can see it from where I am.
Go up!
Because I was watching the stream. It's that. Hey, I see somebody over there. I don't have another seat, but let me see if I can help without falling into holes.
The alien things are basically old teleports, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we just have to power them up first. Oh no, that's a big hole. Alright, I still see you.
Do you see me?
I see somebody.
Maybe it's me. Let me jump.
I don't know. Are you by the alien thing?
I think you found me.
Yeah. I'm near base.
Oh no, then I totally found Walker.
Okay.
Come on, Scooty Scoot!
I don't know where he is, but
Underground.
okay.
Aluminum and compound.
Oh no,
Come on, almost there, come on!
No. Hi, I see you.
Bye! Oh god, no!
Go, get out. Get out. You can do it. You can do it.
Ah!
You can do it.
No! No!
Wait,
No!
again?
Not again! No!
Shit.
Oh no, not now the entire. Oh.
Oh god, I Austin Powers did.
Oh no! How?
Wait, no, I'm good, I'm just.
Oh, the game glitched.
Oh, I saw the most amazing post the other day. It was somebody tweeting like parts from the Austin Powers novelization.
Yeah.
What?
That was so amazing. They're describing the part where he gets the thing stuck between the walls, and it's like describing it with the incredible like detail and turn and plot, and it sounds very like very thrilling. And then it says at the end, "Groovy baby," said nobody because this was bad.
Wait a
Alright, so-
tick. You look like a baby. I am stuck again.
There was totally land here. There really was. The game glitched.
Are you glitched?
No, I was trying
Are
to
we
build you
looking
a
for
ramp.
something specific, by the way?
No, we're just trying to get him out now. He fell down
Alright.
in another
Hey,
hole.
what?
What do I hear?
I don't know which.
Puck!
God damn it! You're blocking me in.
I didn't mean to! I meant to dig a thing another way. You can do it. Come on, Walker.
Come on, scoot.
I
Alright,
meant
so copper.
Wait, where are you?
Okay, I'm Austin Powers again.
Alright, it's just a tractor. We can make another one.
I'm determined.
Yeah, it's a matter of principle now.
Oh, damn it.
Hold on.
Alright, there we go.
There. Maybe?
Oh, what the hell?
Back up.
Backed up.
Okay, now try.
Ah, yeah.
This turn might be a little tricky.
Oh, no, that's not happening.
Oh, shoot.
As I fall back.
Hold on, I'll fix it. Try it again. Come on, you can do it.
I'm turning.
Turn.
Yeah!
Like, if all else fails, you can also do the thing where you just throw ground underneath yourself.
Oh, he's trying to
I
rescue the
can't see.
vehicle, though.
I'm stuck.
Are you stuck again?
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Whoa, where'd you go? I see your vehicle.
Hi, I'm up here.
How?
Ow!
I don't
Just shot me up.
Alright, there. Alright, now I need to see how I can unstick my vehicle.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, there should be a cave somewhere around where I am that has a lot of that aluminium material. I never remembered the name of elements, just the name of what they turn into.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm up! Oh, hey, it's
You're up.
bright.
Alright, now I need to...
I have no idea how I got down there in the first place, but
I
whatever.
think the game glitched, because I could have sworn there was land here before. I really
Yeah, I saw like random bits of a column just appearing and disappearing earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, Susie's saying, you know, that they've lost like 3 tractors on multiplayer. Walker and I had that too on one of the games we were playing together.
Yeah, it's like it's not. I was gonna say that it's weird that multiplayer is bugged than single player, but it's actually not. It's kind of like how multiplayer goes. Like you try syncing an entire solar system between 3 computers live.
I mean, yeah, it's tricky. Okay, so we've saved Walker,
Yeah!
and now
Yeah, I'm bringing back some science study stuff.
okay.
Oh, you were looking for ceramics? I just ran into clay.
Yeah, I'm bringing back a whole bunch of clay too. So I built a second shuttle, so
And I come bearing aluminum.
perfect. And I should be able to essentially use the soil centrifuge to make ammonia, and then we can get. What? Why are you laughing?
Hold on, I'm driving.
Like, Walker's laughing. This is not a good thing.
How do you see me seated on this?
I don't know where you are for starters.
Wait,
Is that?
you don't see
No,
me?
that's ambience.
I see an empty tractor.
Okay. Well, my helmet's sitting on the seat, and that's all I see.
Where's
yeah, I
the
saw
empty
that.
tractor?
Oh, that's great.
Can I not see? I don't know where Walker is. Did we break
He's
the
at
game?
base.
Wait, I'm not a... Okay, this game's tripping me out. Swear I don't do drugs.
Okay, I thought I knew where you were. No, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
My vehicle just died. I don't want to get out of the seat.
Okay. Oh, I had some battery.
Hold on a second. Is the medium storage supposed to be like?
Yeah.
Come on, Wind, pick up.
Sometimes it's folded up like that, and then sometimes it's flat.
Oh, I see. When you put it down on a thing, it gets flat. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think what one of the amazing moments in the game was when I first time I built the large storage, and I was like, hey, has exactly the number of slots of the medium storage. What gives? And it took me a couple of shameful hours to realize it. Oh, you're supposed to stack them.
Alright, Zaren, what do you see? Or Annie, sorry.
It's okay. I see you sitting normally in your tractor.
Oh, really? I need to take a screenshot of
Yeah,
it.
take a screenshot. Oh, wait, you said you brought back research.
Yeah, it's on my tractor.
Yeah, I got it. So, for those of you that haven't played the game, research is essentially the currency we need for upgrades. we're actually at the point where we can send somebody to another planet. And I made a second spacecraft and a second oxygenator, and I have a second booster, but if I do that, nobody has a backup booster, so I need to get some ammonium and make a backup booster. Or 3.
There's a floating battery here. You see it?
Magic!
Floating battery.
I see nothing.
It does that with some of the power stuff in multiplayer.
Alright.
So and here's
So
the
yeah,
booster.
do we have, like, I assume we don't, but, like, stuff for a medium shuttle?
No, not yet. We literally need to go
What?
to other planets to get tungsten and iron.
Yeah, iron is probably the, iron is a bit harder to find in tungsten, I think, or maybe just maybe it is just where I landed, like, lucky with tungsten.
If you go to the glacial planet, so we need aluminum alloy for the medium shuttle, but in order to get aluminum alloy, we need tungsten. So somebody.
Oh,
has
don't
to
you
go-
start that.
Aluminium.
Yeah, tungsten is pretty available on this planet. But, like, I just, like, landed on the glacial planet for the first time trying to get titanium. Because that is, like, the last bastion of what I haven't... Like, I assume there's a lot of stuff I haven't managed to find yet, but that's, like... I haven't really looked into drills yet. I assume it opens up a whole new
Yeah,
thing.
drills make life easier. So go ahead and make another... Oh, I already have a third oxygenator made. Duh. So I really just need that aluminum.
I think I...
We can get
Oh,
it
we...
here. I'm just gonna drop that there. It's extenders. Extenders are annoying to
Like-
me.
If this is, like... I saw, like, some areas that looked copy-pasted from the single-player map, so I assumed the caves are mostly the same.
It's actually generated. I think
It
it's
is?
just every time it's for every game everything's just generated.
Okay, because I saw some, like, stuff that looks really familiar, but maybe it's just not a very good algorithm.
Yeah, no, I'm not too sure. Q says, "Isn't it a question of belief, aluminum or aluminium, or aluminium or aluminum?" I mean, I don't know. I blame my organic chemistry professor. He was from
I'm
the
gonna
UK.
send you a bottled fart.
You would.
Where is my tractor? There it is.
The portable large recycler is amazing.
Yes.
I like making a
Oh,
large
the-
recycler and putting it on a large rover and driving around and cleaning everything up. It makes me happy.
Yeah. I was, like, very disappointed the first time I tried to recycle one of those junk platforms, and it was like, nope, too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wanted to recycle those.
You can blow it up with dynamite.
Oh, I haven't tried.
the same.
I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, no, it's easier to make the shredder and put it on a medium or large rover and drive around to all the debris than it is to bring the debris back to the base.
Oh, large rover. It's the best thing ever.
Oh, I should
Walker-
make that.
Walker had fallen asleep and left his game open, so I joined on his game, played around
no.
for I don't know how long, and I left him with large rovers. And he hadn't made them before or seen them, and he's just like, yes.
Oh yeah, I definitely know what I'm doing next because I haven't made them either. Like, as soon as I got off planet, I was like, rovers? Who needs rovers?
Oh no. The large rovers are amazing.
Oh, they're so great.
They're like ATVs or something?
They're just, you can literally mount a whole shredder on them and still have room.
They're like baby monster trucks.
They are baby monster
nice.
trucks. Q says, this is on the moon. No, we're still on the well, right now, because you're only seeing my screen, because we still haven't set it up so where you can watch more than one of us at a time. This is the Terran planet. I am on a mission right now to gather ammonia so I can make more boosters. And in the absence of gathering ammonia, I'm gathering dirt so I can sift ammonium out of the dirt. So yeah, this is the very starter planet. It's very colorful. I like it.
It is so colorful.
Yeah, it's also like I think the most varied planet. So
Sure.
at least from what I've encountered, like it has like snowy areas, it has foresty areas.
Yeah. Because like
Yes.
Glacio is pretty much like all snow and mountain. Oh, there's more. But yeah, we haven't strayed too far from base.
You mean you haven't gotten lost yet?
Not in this
What?
game.
Oh, what's this?
I am really
This
happy
is-
that they got rid of windstorms too, Susie, because those were
they had
really
windstorms?
annoying.
Yeah, I only got the game when it left beta.
It was good before it left beta, but the windstorms were really annoying, and I'm glad we don't have to deal with them. They may add them back in, but I don't think they'll ever be on like the starter planet.
Yeah, maybe it's a special mode or something around the harder planets. What's this?
Yeah, some of the planets will still kill you, Disillusioned. Walker found this out the hard way, because I had told him pretty much all the planets on the surface wouldn't kill him, right? Except there is one on the surface of the starter planet that can kill you. Come on, get out of the hole. And, Walker stepped over it, and boom.
Yep.
They're mostly on mountains though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're mostly on mountains.
Lesson learned.
And Susie, if you haven't made it yet, the oxygen tank, the small oxygen tank is amazing. You can...
I saw there's a portable oxygenator, which
I haven't
probably-
made that yet.
yeah, neither have I. It's probably not easy to make, but it sounds like a really
I'm wondering if you put that on a
Experiment.
rover. Because you're supposed to be able to attach tethers to the vehicles, but that hasn't worked at all for me.
no, I haven't been able to attach tethers to vehicles either, except for like when I just put a full-blown oxygenator on a vehicle.
Yeah, so maybe that's what the portable oxygenator is all about.
I thought they were like on your backpack.
I have no idea.
Hmm.
That would be cool too. That would be really cool too, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so there's more
I
science.
need one of those backpacks in real life then.
Disillusion says, portable oxygenator sounds amazing, but uses so much power so fast, it's not worth it. Susie says, we're on a planet now with giant tongues that throw you and plants that shoot you dead in one shot. Not just the regular pulsing death trees, but those tall feathery suckers that kill you before you know you're beside them. Oh, I think I know which ones you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one with like the huge spongy rocks, I think. The purple one.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, they're just mostly hard to move.
No, 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 don't go down in the hole.
That sounds like you just walked it yourself.
Yeah, I just walked it myself. So, Imbius, did you end up driving home after the launch?
Kind of. I drove to my girlfriend's sister's place, which wasn't that far from the launch event, and I slept a couple of hours there, and then I drove home.
Okay.
And the problem with that is that when I say I slept, I mean I tried sleeping. I was too excited. But it was no, but like it was enough rest that I got home safe, evidently.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I was regretting not staying there longer, like almost towards the end of the drive home. I was starting to feel like, okay, I need to like slap myself and like kept my eyes wide open.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Indeed.
No, but the launch was very fun.
Good. I'm
was
glad
like-
you got a chance to go.
Yeah, it was fun. It was like a party, and it was big. It was a fun event. I just hope they. Our space has been having a couple of problems lately. I hope they fix it.
Yeah, I saw something briefly when I was researching my last story, and I'm like, I should really cover this as an update, and I just didn't have time to add it.
Yeah, it's basically, from what I understand, what happened is that the computer, just before they were about to make the second maneuver, the computer rebooted itself.
Yeah.
And from what I hear, like they called it an unexpected reboot, but it's not exactly true. Like it was a safety measure. Basically, as most satellites and spaceships do, when they have a software problem they can't recover from, they just reboot.
Right.
And because it's in such a highly eccentric orbit, it goes out of the protection of the magnetic field and basically gets tons of radiation, which I assume also involves cosmic rays, and bits get flipped.
Yes, bits get flipped.
So yeah, so the computer rebooted itself, and it like the reason it was so dramatic was it just happened to be right before a maneuver. So they canceled the maneuver because you don't want to do it until you know for sure that everything's working. And they haven't been very good, like, say what you will about Space AL, they've never been very good at communicating. Like, it's one of their big efforts, but everything's been like hush-hush until the last moment. Like, we didn't have an official launch date until a week before. So they haven't been really good at communicating what's happening, so people are just like, okay, there seems to be a problem, we're not hearing anything, it's probably bad. And I don't know, it may actually be bad, but we just don't know.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
They're not telling us anything. So yeah, I hope they recover from that. I hope it's like just a security measure and not an actual problem.
Me too. I mean, it is definitely scary. Be like, okay, something's wrong, something's not happening right. But, they're not the only ones to be kind of hush-hush about things. I think it really just depends on the mission.
Yeah, and also, like, when you consider that most of the people on that mission are people who worked on military stuff, like, they're mostly members of the Israeli aerospace industries, which is a military organization, so they're not used to sharing everything they're doing at all times. Like, they're just used to not talking about stuff.
Right. Plus, I mean, as much as we don't like it that they're not being very forthcoming, at least this way, you don't have conflicting reports, and they can get all their facts straight before they announce something. So, I mean, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Alright. We can make more thrusters.
Yeah, I'm stuck. I think I also just... No? Okay. No, I managed to make it back.
Alright. Okay, what do I need? I need...
So what should I be looking for?
Somebody's
or are we
phone
about to... Or are we going to launch?
We can... I think I have enough materials. Hey, Disillusion, I saw that you added me to your friends list. Let me
Okay, now I saw you just now rolling in with your helmet on the... Just like I was.
Confirm. Disillusion said, hey, throw some medium storage on those trailers and carry 8 ores on each. I actually did that on purpose. I did that so we could carry, I could carry research back.
It's a shame, like, you can't make the medium storage spread out like they do on the things here, and then carry 2 research items back.
I think the research items, I think the holes are too wide for the medium storage.
They only line up with the base holes.
Yeah, like, another disappointing thing I found out is, like, if you make a B large platform, the one with the side things, you can put the research items on them, but they won't automatically go into the research chamber once it's free.
I know. I always thought that was
so
silly.
Yeah.
Drop Bear Antics has joined chat. There's such color, very trippy. I know, right? Isn't it amazing? Look at these trees.
Do you have any idea
Drop
what
Bear?
the... Yeah, there's like a scanner thing that doesn't really do anything, but it like does something with colors. Do you know what the color... Do the colors like have any meaning, or is it just colors?
I think they're just colors. I mean, the only ones that really have meaning are like the ones where they're rocks. If that makes sense. You know, the ones where they're rocks, that.
Yeah.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Jeez, are we gonna start this?
Dude, the colors is like so trippy.
I think we can get everybody launched. That would be kind of cool. That's my new goal, is for all of us to be launched.
Yeah, that's definitely ammonium.
There. There's another small shuttle, and I already have an oxygenator for that one. And there's a thruster. And here's another thruster. What should I do when I get in? Ask Disillusioned. Anything need to be done? You can get in a shuttle and hop off to one of the planets. I mean, I really can't think of anything else. Susie says if you're digging deep and the rocks change color, they're often those harder to dig rocks. Yeah, they really are.
Right, I ran into that, and like I made a drill mod for my thing, and it really helped.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see.
Oh yeah, don't you know?
Shh. I'm not from that
Sorry,
part of the
I can't help
country.
it.
I've spent time in that part of the country. I
Yeah,
really have.
I'll probably be there in this summer.
In Minnesota or Wisconsin?
Minnesota, yeah. We're planning maybe, like, I'm saying maybe, but it's probably going to happen anyway. Like, we're planning on going there to visit my girlfriend's family.
Aww.
Oh, you're going to Winona on a boat?
Okay.
Walker, why? Because he can. That's why, ladies and gentlemen. Alright.
Yeah.
Damn right.
I'm making a bunch of extra thrusters. So if anybody decides to leave the planet, make sure to take
I already
an extra
did.
thruster. Did you take an extra thruster?
I did.
Oh, jeez. I took a drill rover down there. It got stuck. Yeah. Yeah. That happens. Random info. Hi. Thanks. The planet in the game is spherical. I wonder how long it takes to dig directly down, assuming there are tethers present to reach the opposing surface. I don't know. Disillusioned is incoming. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by how deep you can dig and just find more and more tunnels.
I know, right? I also wonder how the game would handle gravity at its center. You actually do, for the long-term game, I guess, progress, you actually do have to dig to the center of the planet. I know that I've gone
dig
to...
your hole.
Oh, aren't you very, very colorful? Hi there! Are you gonna join voice chat? I see you! Look at Disillusioned, isn't he colorful?
Oh yeah.
I can't see. I feel left out.
I'm sorry, but he's very colorful. His backpack is light blue, his jacket is green, his boots and his gloves are yellow.
Oh, I see him now.
Orange.
Okay, what other things I'm gonna
It's the
need
Terran
off
suit
my-
color scheme. That makes sense, actually. I mean, you
How do you
kinda
unlock
match.
these things?
English soundtrack from the Guyana Space Center in Kourou.
Shoot. Things are happening.
This is the English soundtrack from the...
Okay.
What, at the launch?
No, they're starting their thing. So see, I should have set up the other thing. But yeah, no, you want to take a spacecraft to another planet? Take a spacecraft to another planet. Knock yourself out.
Okay, I'm grabbing the extra thruster.
Is there an oxygenator on? Okay, I think now they all have oxygenators. I just need to continue making thrusters.
Yep. We have aluminium, yes.
Yes. So let me pull chat back up. I hear launch stuff. Do you really want me to explain how to unlock? No, I'll figure it out. Information dump, yeah! There, now we can print it.
Nice. Oh, I
Yeah,
saw.
you heard launch stuff. They are doing... I'm not sure if they're doing their test thing or if they're doing their pre-roll. Because I have it up on YouTube. I want to try to run it through VLC this time. But I'm not entirely too sure.
So this is like one of several launches, isn't it?
Today there's only one launch. Later this week there will be another launch, but for OneWeb it is the... Are you okay, Walker?
Oh, I'm very dead.
Oh, I'm
No.
sorry. For
I brought the outburst.
It's okay. For OneWeb, it will be the first of several launches. They're putting up 6 of the 10 satellites they already have made. So, yeah, I'm going to try VLC streaming rather than, or I'm going to try VLC, capturing everything on VLC, and then put that through OBS, which will then spit it out to Twitch, rather than trying to capture Firefox and then through OBS and spitting it out to Twitch, because every other time I do that with Firefox it crashes. So yeah, I'd rather not have it crash and quite frankly cuss at it consistently.
Yeah.
So, but we're gonna try it.
Speaking of cussing, I just dug myself into the ground and I have... Oh no, I found air. No, I found air. That's okay, now I need to find the way back.
It's like I have
Unless
I have
there's-
2 spacecraft here that are all ready to go, guys. Who wants to go to space?
Let me just dig.
Alright, fine. I'll go to space.
Yeah, I'm digging my way upwards, like...
Oh, Disillusioned, if you want to go, it's all you. It's all you. Take an extra booster. There. Now you can go.
So this game has digging and it has space. Is this like what was the name of that shitty movie? Armageddon. Yes. Is this based on Armageddon?
Oh god.
I don't know. Wow. That's an interesting one.
I've got a song stuck in my head.
Now we need a 2-seater. So how do you get a 2-seater shuttle? Other than
I don't know. I know that the medium one isn't 2-seater, I think only the large one, but I'm not sure.
Oh, the medium. We can't build the medium because we need tungsten to make the chemistry thing to do the thing. Yeah.
Alright, so
Be right back. Okay.
I'm gonna launch next.
Go for it.
Where should I go?
Walker, where did you go?
I don't know, but it said it's dry heat.
Walker's not on the moon.
Yeah, I know where you went. I don't remember what it's called, but I've been there. I think it's what it's called.
Oh, so you would put seats on, like, where you can attach things, and that's how you get your friends to go to space with you?
Oh, God!
Okay.
Oh.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
It really does. Alright, so...
I think you're on Calidor?
Ha!
I think he is.
Everything's trying to...
Yeah, because everything's trying to kill him. He is.
No, okay.
Alright, so we got about 4 minutes before... we swap over. One of these days we will have it so you can see more than my screen, so you can see Walker dying over and over and over and over and over again.
Hey, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, and apparently he has the internet to provide that.
Oh, he does.
I will, you mean.
Over and over and over again.
Okay, I get it, I suck at games!
You do
You
not.
don't have to be such a bully!
Earlier, when I played single player, I basically died like, I went to another planet, and... No, I was on the same planet on the other side, and I died, and because I had a... what's it called? Like a shelter on that same planet, it transported me back, and I couldn't get to my body. It was really annoying.
That's weird. I don't think I've
Yeah, I just...
died on another planet? Yeah.
Okay, so I have like a lot of I landed next to this big alien thing on the moon.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of flat terrain, which is great. So I'm gonna start deploying stuff.
You're following him to Mun. Yeah, I was gonna say all the rockets are gone. If you die on another planet, you just wake up back of your ship. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's true, but like I didn't die on another planet. I died on the other side of the same planet. So I couldn't get there easily to recover my stuff.
That would be the worst.
Okay, so
Are you going to be good now? Can I put you down on the floor? Or are you just gonna sit in my lap for hours? She's like, I want to kill the mice, Mom. Okay, there. Now we should have enough power. I feel so lonely now.
Everybody's left.
Everybody's left me. I mean, that's what I wanted, but everybody's left me and I feel so lonely. So, Walker, random info says, nothing bad, Walker. She's just complimenting your redundancy.
Yeah.
that's a fun way to put it.
I know, we'll get back down. It's okay. Yeah, on the same planet, when you die on the opposite side of the world, you're just out of luck. Like, one of the games that Walker and I played, I got lost. And I don't know where I am, but I know I'm near one of the alien portals, and he's near an alien portal. So my thought to get back home is that we both power up the portals. So I just started a second base.
Yeah, but it's so hard to power them up. You need so much power.
I know. I know.
I think we got enough power for that now.
We should on that game. Yeah, we should. Okay. Let's see. Do I have enough aluminum? I do. make another shuttle. Hi,
Yeah,
Peacock Juke. Welcome. This is Astroneer, and it's kind of a sandboxy game. Different resources are on different planets. I'm on the starter planet right now. There's 3 other people in the game with me, and they all left, which is what I wanted. To be fair, that's what I wanted. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's space related, which is why I'm playing it before we start streaming the Arian space launch. Because I am way more comfortable with Astroneer than I am with Kerbal Space Program. And I think that's...
I'm great at getting rockets up.
To be fair, it gets... Kerbal Space Program has a very steep learning curve. Like, it took me a lot of time to realize I was doing it very wrong.
And, like,
but once you get over that curve, usually after watching hours of YouTube videos of other people playing, and you realize,
Scott Manley.
Oh, yeah, Scott Manley mostly, yeah. And you realize, oh, that's how you're supposed to do it, and it just makes your game so much better.
Delusion says, I'm searching for tungsten. Well, good luck with that. I'm gonna pop into this to save the game. So I'm probably going to... Yeah, definitely look it up. It's, was released out of beta, earlier this month. And I've been playing it since it was in beta. So... I think...
Oh, jeez. Why does everything want to kill?
I don't know, Walker. Why does everything want to kill you?
You landed in planet Australia.
Planet Australia. Do you hear that, Drop Bear Antics? Walker landed in Planet Australia.
Okay, I need resin. Oh, there it is.
Alright, maybe we won't do it through VLC, because I apparently don't know what I'm doing. I keep telling it to do this, and it's like, okay.
Hi, Disillusion. How do I wave?
I think it's 2 or 3.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Damn it! Damn it!
VLC is not doing... I don't know how to make VLC quickly do what I want it to do. So, according to some flat earthers, Australia doesn't exist. I'm either CGI or a NASA paid actor.
Oh.
Poor Drop Bear. You're not. You're real. You're not a NASA paid actor.
Yeah, NASA doesn't have the budget for that.
Oh no, they really don't.
Yeah, I think somebody once calculated that back in the 70s it would actually have been cheaper to go to the moon than to fake it.
Yeah, I saw that same thing. Plus, you know, they would have to invent all kinds of different filming techniques and lighting.
Yeah, okay. So I was going to try to do this for VLC, but I thought it would be quick and easy, and it is not. Paranor! You lied to me! It's like, oh, just open network stream. It'll do it that way. Like, it's not... It just keeps going back to playlist is currently empty. Like, okay. Arian space isn't quite ready. So...
No, they can take their time.
Yeah, they can take their time. Okay. I think VLC is just going to be out. Out. Hey, look, it's another space shuttle.
Oh, nice.
Now we're going to be DLC. Ain't that kind of a resource hog? I haven't used it in a while. And
Ow.
I have a relatively new computer. I built it last summer. The only thing that probably isn't up to snuff is the graphics card.
I have the exact opposite problem. I have a really new and powerful graphics card, and my computer is a bit old. So that's probably my bottleneck. I would have upgraded, but I'm waiting for the new i9 processors to go into stock, and they just won't.
Yeah. Oh, Guido's saying VLC doesn't really work with YouTube live streams anymore. There are some versions that did, some don't, and it's all a big mess. Well, it was worth a thought then. It was worth a thought then. Just gonna keep researching. DLC brought us up though. Free. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, DLC is a good offline player, online not so much. I was just trying to figure out a way around my the issues I keep having with YouTube during launch streams. Because it is very, very annoying. But I guess we'll just work with Firefox for now. I can do it. Alright, so that now has oxygen. And they're still running their pre-roll, which is kind of funny because they're like, oh, we'll start it. I use OBS, and that's what I'm using now. I don't know if I can pull YouTube video straight into OBS. I haven't experimented with that yet. I imagine I could, but I just haven't experimented with it because I like having control of where everything is. Screen cap a YouTube vid. That's pretty much what I do. I capture a window. I meant pull it in without going through Firefox. Because that seems to be where my problem is. Am I out of aluminum? No, not quite. That seems to be where my problem is with Firefox. Oh, I don't want a trailer. There we go. I want fuel thruster. So, actually, see about.
Oh, I got gas.
In game?
Yes.
I like how he's just like in game.
No, I have not had chili recently.
Aw, I've heard your mom's chili is really good.
It is. Considering it's pretty much the same stuff we served at the restaurant for, 30.
And Dissolution says, beans, the magical fruit.
The more you eat, the more you do.
So don't use Firefox then? Shouldn't be, although it shouldn't be problematic, it's probably nicer than Google Chrome these days. I've thought about switching to something else just for the streams. Because I'm not sure if it's Firefox or if it's YouTube. Like, I don't know what's going on. I can't remember if Arian Space has their own website. That's actually a good thing to check while this is printing.
I am out of resin again.
Oh no! You don't want to be out of resin.
Yep, you need resin.
Insert stoner joke here.
Now.
Hey, I just didn't say anything.
Now.
Told you I'd be well behaved.
That's right. Well behaved or you can never come back again.
Exactly.
Launch kit press release, and there's nothing about watching it live on their website. So much for that. Oh. We'll just have to hope that it behaves today.
Dream big. Dream big.
I know, right? So make all the boosters, because hopefully the next time we play, we can all be on different planets. I think I am actually out of aluminum. I am. It's not that big of a deal. I should have enough extra boosters. Use Microsoft Edge. No.
I would like to surprise you that I found Edge to actually be faster than Chrome and Firefox for very specific tasks.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, I have a Microsoft tablet.
Okay.
And it's very weak. Like, the processor is pretty damn weak. And Chrome was having real trouble scrolling. So somebody said, try Edge. And I was like, why would I try Edge?
The same reaction I essentially just had.
Yeah, and then I gave it a shot, and it was actually faster.
That's interesting. Chrome's a known resource hog. So yeah, the stream is like live-ish. Like they're running their pre-roll. And there's part of me that's like, I could switch and y'all could watch the pre-roll. Or you can watch me just kind of fumble around for a bit longer. And I lost chat.
Chat.
Also, Walker, Susie says she's watching you.
What?
That's ominous.
It is ominous. Do.
Oh god, man. I knew the government was after me. Get on me, man. Get on me.
Oh my goodness. I vote for more fumbling.
The real question is not if the government's after you. The real question is which government.
Oh, yeah. That's not good. Let's not think about that one too hard, shall we?
Yeah, I suspect at least two. In my case, at least, if not more.
So, favorite human had as a total white boy move. Spoiler alert for those that don't know, his favorite human is not white. As a total white boy move, he applied for National Security Administration. And oh my, just oh my. The things they wanted to know about were just terrifying.
Yeah, I imagine.
He didn't get the job. He was a little bummed,
Rip.
but he, like, he had to do polygraph twice. He was supposed to do it a third time. Like, the 2 times he did do it, it was stressful. For top secret security clearance, you need literally for top secret, I think it's the past 10 or 15 years, you need somebody to verify that, yeah, you went to this school. Yeah, you worked at this location. Yeah, these are my friends. You know, these are, you know, they won't really talk to family.
Yeah.
But it was really weird. Because some of the people he used for, like, that could verify that he went to school really should have been his social contacts, and he should have just used somebody that he didn't really talk to very much, but was like, yeah, I remember him from school. Because that's all they needed, was, yeah, I remember him from school. So... yeah, as Trillian H2O says, for high-level clearances, they talk to your friends and people who are not your friends. That is correct. Because this is not my first rodeo with this. And it was interesting. But, yeah, I feel bad because I could have guided him better through this process. Because I've gone for just a secret, and I had previously had somebody in my life who had gone for a top secret. But part of me's like, I feel bad for not speaking up and saying, you know, you really only need somebody that can say, yeah, I went to school with you, instead of using, you know, one of your best friends. So.
Yeah, I had problem getting security clearance in the military because I have a dual citizenship.
Yeah.
So they kept asking me about stuff from when I lived in the States, and I was 3 years old. I don't remember any of it. And so they had me have my parents come up with records stuff to see where we lived, where they worked, who we were in contact with, and yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
Go find all that stuff from 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, the U.S. government, I think, only goes back 15, but, or if you're, really young and you're going into the military, they only want up until a certain age. They don't go way back till you were, 3 or whatever. So... Drop Bear says, gosh, I'd have a really hard... Oh, I think things are happening on the other screen. They are happening on the other screen.
Ooh.
Alright, so let me... switch this over. And switch that over. And give me 1 second to,
Oh, that's a big control.
I'm exiting the game, guys, just so you know.
Alright.
Will that close the game for us? Yes, it
Yes.
That is a very big though.
On the pad, liftoff is scheduled in just over 18 minutes' time. And they're flying on board a Soyuz launcher today. She stands 47 meters tall. And inside the very top of the launcher, underneath what we call the fairing, which is that pointy section at the top, are our satellites. If we take a look inside, we have 6 OneWeb satellites in there, and they're attached using a very special dispenser, that tube in the middle, which was designed specifically to host them. And we also have 4 mock satellites. We call them mass frequency simulators. They're the same mass, the same weight as the real things, and they're there to balance out the load, and a little bit like ballast in a boat. Now, we are going to go over to Stefan Israel, because Stefan is the CEO of Ariane Space, and everyone's really had to innovate, because we are going to, at the moment, today we're launching 6 satellites, but we're going to be launching at some stage 36. Stefan, thank you very much indeed for joining us. This is an exciting launch, isn't it? Can you tell us about the mission?
Yes, maybe about the launch, because tonight we are launching the first of a series of 21 launches for OneWeb. We signed this contract in London in June 2015, and tonight we are all gathered to make it happen, so there is a lot of passion and of emotion tonight.
And it's going to take us about 1 hour and 20 minutes to deliver all 6 of the satellites. Can you give us an idea what's going to happen during that time?
Yes, so we have decided 5 hours ago to fuel the rocket, and now we are in the very final operations. At 6:37, we will lift off. The mission will last 1 hour and 22 minutes. We will first have the work of the 3 stage, the Soyuz, during 9 minutes, and after we will have the Fregat, the upper stage, which will work up to 1 hour and 22 minutes. We will have the first separation of 2 spacecraft after 1 hour and 3 minutes, and then 4 additional spacecraft after 1 hour and 22 minutes. So we need to be a little bit patient up to 1 hour and 22 minutes.
And then we'll be waiting a little bit longer as well to ensure that we get our information from the launcher and come back into the range of tracking stations. So we'll probably have to be even a little bit more patient. Ariane Space has done some exciting work in order to host all of these satellites, designing a new dispenser, indeed all the OneWeb teams. It's a very, very innovative constellation. All the OneWeb teams have worked really hard at this. You must be feeling very proud.
We feel very focused on the success tonight and on the mission.
Stéphane Israel, thank you very much indeed. You can take your place behind the fishbowl. Thank you, Stéphane. So Stéphane is going to take his place in the fishbowl behind me. You can see the teams in there. We have a number of teams operating, different teams operating here in the Mission Control Center. And this is the Flight Directorate. This is the desk where Stéphane sits. Now, he's told us what's going to happen during today's launch, but we're going to get a little bit more detail now in this film.
If they roll the film.
The first part of the flight is ensured by the launcher Soyuz in version STB. The liftoff is ensured by the ignition of the 4 boosters in the blockade stage. After 2 minutes, the booster are separated, followed by the fairing 1 minute and 50 seconds later. The blockade separation happens after 4 minutes and 50 seconds of flight. The blockade stage is then ignited during 4 minutes and 40 seconds. After the blockade cutoff and its separation, the second part of flight begins with Fregat M flight. The first burns last 4 minutes, the second one lasts 2 minutes, and they are spaced out by an intermediate coast phase of 41 minutes. Once the spacecraft injection orbit reaches, the separation sequence begins with the simultaneous separation of 2 satellites after 1 hour and 3 minutes of flight. The second separation event occurs 19 minutes later with the separation of the last 4 satellites.
For OneWeb pilot launch by Soyuz, this network features Galliot, the station in French Guiana, Bermuda on the Bermuda Island, Saint-Hubert station in Canada, Svalbard station on the Norwegian archipelago in the Arctic Ocean, and New Norcia station on the west coast of Australia. The data collected by this station are immediately sent to the CDLS, the Soyuz Control Center in French Guiana, and to the Fregat Flight Monitoring Center in Moscow.
Now, Soyuz is one of 3 launchers that we have here, 3 rockets, if you like. We have Ariane 5, which is the big one. Soyuz is the middle lifter, and then Vega, the small one. And we have, therefore, 3 launch zones. The Soyuz launch zone is about half an hour from the Mission Control Center by car, and it's near the town, in the commune of a town called Sinnemarie. It's about 17 kilometers from the town.
Since October 2011, Ariane Space has been successfully launching Soyuz rockets from its equatorial home here at the Guiana Space Center, consisting of assembly buildings, a control center and pad.
So they're talking about essentially the area that they launch from. So DPIS, isn't 30-minute drive pretty far away from a launch site? I mean, I don't really know. They're far enough away to be safe, and I'm sure it looks like they have a lot of resources to do what they need to do. Actually, let's turn this back up and listen.
Named after the second and secret wife of King Louis XIV, Madame de Maintenon, who, legend has it, was born on the banks of the river. The town's church, Our Lady of Assumption, is considered an architectural masterpiece. It was designed and built by the Reverend Father Leroy in 1928 with enthusiastic help from the congregation. The Sinamari River is the 5th longest in French Guiana, and fishing is understandably an important activity here. Numerous birds gather in the estuary, where the mangrove swamps are teeming with wildlife.
And there's our drone flying, hovering over the launch pad there. You can just see it in the distance, get a really good image there of the Amazon rainforest, because that's where we are, of course, on the edge of the Amazon rainforest and the northeastern coast of South America. Now, you could think of our launcher as almost two separate parts, if you like. We've got the first 3 stages, which is called the powered phase of the flight, which gets us into space. And then on the top, it has something called the frigate upper stage. So we actually have 2 synchronized sequences for those 2 parts.
Attention pour H0, moins 10 minutes et 20 secondes.
And this is the range operations manager.
Début de la séquence finale lanceur.
And he has just announced the final phase of the synchronized sequence for the launch vehicle. So this means that the computers on the ground are running all the operations. They run an extremely impressive list of operations because it's all automated. And you can see there on the right-hand side what we call these status panels. All the systems across the base send their flight readiness status to those panels. And obviously they're a little bit like traffic lights. Green is go, and of course red is stop. And right now we are go for launch. They are giving us information on vital things like the state of the launch base, the safeguarding and telemetry, as well as weather and that sort of thing. Now, the Soyuz rocket is actually built in Russia and shipped, I believe, to French Guiana in 10 crates, and teams then set about assembling and mating the satellites. This is called the launch campaign.
The Soyuz V-21 launch campaign began in early September 2018 and continued until December. On December 20, we transferred the frigate upper stage from the Soyuz launcher preparation building MIG to the F-Cube fueling facility in early January. Filling operations started at the F-Cube building in parallel. We also began launcher assembly as well as preparations at the launch zone ahead of the launch.
The VS-21 flight will be the first launch for the OneWeb Satellites company. The launch campaign has started with the arrival of the Antonov cargo plane on the 22nd of January. The 6 spacecraft and 4 mass flight simulators were transferred to S3B payload facilities with ground support equipment. Combined operations with launchers item have started right after the arrival on the 23rd of January with mass flight simulator mating on dispenser. In parallel, last electrical checks were performed on the 6 spacecraft and integration on dispenser has started on the 29th of January.
On February 18, the filled frigate was transferred from F-Cube to the S3B building.
The stack made of spacecraft and mass flight simulators integrated on dispenser, was transferred onto the frigate stage on the 19th of February. The nose module, made of payloads, dispenser and frigate stage, under fairing, was transferred to the Soyuz launch pad and hoisted onto launcher on the 22nd of February.
At D-2 was the launcher rehearsal. At D-1, in parallel with the frigate rehearsal, the launch readiness review gave the green light for the launch operations to go ahead. Today the final chronology operations are underway for a launch at 18:37 local time.
And here I am back in my commentary box. I've now come upstairs and watching the launch from the Mission Control Center. The commentary box is above the screens, and there is our vehicle on the pad, Soyuz, waiting for liftoff. And we also see images back there of the Jupiter Control Center, and these are the OneWeb Beam teams. These guys and girls all know each other well. They've been working together very closely on this mission, some of them for months and some of them for years. And Andreas de Olivares there is in charge of the launch for OneWeb. And here is the Minister for Solidarity and Agnès Buzyn, who is watching the launch, the French minister there. Getting closer now to the next final phase of the synchronized sequence. You remember I said we had 2 synchronized sequences, and getting closer to that. And the teams who are watching over all these operations are in what we call the Launch Control Center, and here they are. You can see them in action. They are monitoring frigate's transfer to onboard power at this point in time. We have various teams working in here, one responsible for the ground operations, led by the launch site operations manager, and the counterpart on the Russian side, because of course Soyuz is a Russian launcher. And the other teams responsible for the flight readiness of the vehicle, led by the production manager. And the beginning of the final synchronized sequence, the 5 is about 5 minutes beforehand, and it's called Kluch na Start. And in the control center in Kazakhstan, there's actually a key which is turned to trigger that sequence, and key is Kluch, I believe, in Russian, and key on start is Kluch na Start. That white smoke you can see there coming out of the side of the launcher is it's the liquid oxygen which is burning off. Now, our drone is flying over here. We're looking at one of the viewing sites. This is called Colibri. It's the closest viewing site to the launch pad, and everybody there has got the front row seats for this launch, and I hope they've taken their mosquito spray with them, because as you could see back there, we are on the edge of the Amazon rainforest, and this is the time when the mosquitoes come out, I'm afraid to say. He calls out all the major events during the flight, getting a really good image there of the launcher lit up. Bit cloudy there. A word about the final launch sequence. We're going to see, can you see those swing arms at the bottom? We've got 4 blue and yellow arms clamping onto the bottom of the launcher. And they have big weights, counterweights at the bottom of them, those yellow structures. We'll see those move away just before launch. Our satellites are inside there, waiting patiently for launch. In first class. It's nice and cool in there. They've got air conditioning. And the mast on the right-hand side is...
Largage des ombilicaux, ciao.
Well, he's just announced
the mast is containing what we call the umbilical lines. Those are the feed lines going up from the top of the rocket to the ground, and those have just been detached, and they fall into a basket which you can't see. You can't see them because they're inside the mast, but you'll see that mast and the one below it pull away just before the launch. Also, a quick word about the launch sequence. We switched the engines on 16 minutes before liftoff, at 16 seconds rather, and the reason for that is we need to check that they are working well. So we throttle them up slowly, and we increase the thrust slowly, and when they reach full thrust, nothing can hold it back, and those swing arms pivot away. Looking very relaxed in there. Everybody's done this many, many times before. Getting closer now to the 1 minute mark.
À tous de DDO, attention pour moins 1 minute. Top, H0 moins 1 minute.
And we are 1 minute to launch. We're orbiting the first 6 satellites in the brand new OneWeb constellation built by the Airbus OneWeb Satellites joint venture, and we're flying on board Soyuz to launch from the Guiana Space Center. Our very best wishes now to all the teams.
Largage du Macazedem. De la séquence d'allumage lanceur. Top, H0 moins 20 secondes. Largage du Mavic. Allumage triétage. À tous de DDO. Attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. F6. Paramètres à bord sont normaux. La propulsion est conforme à l'attendu.
And they are off. The first 6 OneWeb satellites have begun their journey, heading out north over the Atlantic towards the Caribbean. Look at that. Those engines on board Soyuz are pushing hard against Earth's gravity. We're burning 5 engines at the moment.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
He's telling us that everything on board's going according to plan. And we've got 5 engines. We've got 1 on the main stage. We've got 4 on each one of those boosters. But it's the boosters that are doing all the work right now. Ah, look at that streak of light heading out across the skies here at the Guiana Space Center, out over the Atlantic Ocean. The boosters only burn for 2 minutes, but that's long enough for Soyuz to escape the pull of our planet. They're delivering 80% of our thrust right now.
Les paramètres propulsifs sont conformes.
And if we're lucky, we might see them falling away. I think we're going to see them being jettisoned. Look out for dots. There we go. There they go. Very beautiful sight actually to see that with the cameras. And now what we're left with,
Séparation des blocs BVGD confirmée.
he's told us that that's been confirmed. You can see that's what it looks like from in space. So they've burnt all their fuel, we don't need them anymore, and we are burning the main core stage, the block A. And if you take a look,
Bonne stabilisation du lanceur suite à la séparation.
He's telling us that it's good stabilization after the separation there of those boosters. And you take a look at the front of the launcher, that's actually called the fairing. As I mentioned earlier. And he's saying everything's going well. And the satellites are in there, and indeed that fairing has been protecting our satellites. It protects us from the rigours of the launch. A number of things it needs to protect us from, notably the acoustic vibrations at liftoff. It's very loud, I'm sure you can imagine. It's also protecting us from friction, because as we fly through the dense part of the atmosphere, that creates a lot of friction on the outside, and that creates heat, of course. As we get higher up, the air gets thinner, and we have less and less friction. And if you look at the bottom left-hand side of your screen, you can see we are 116 kilometers above Earth. So we've gone above what we call the Kármán line. That's the border with space. So effectively we don't really need our fairing anymore, because we hardly have any friction, certainly not enough for it to be a problem, and so we can jettison it. This is the scheduled moment for jettisoning the fairing, and that's what it looks like from cameras on board a previous launcher. And he's confirmed that we have that separation. Now, if you have ever wondered how satellites work, or how they get the internet to you, and how we all get connected, then you're in luck, because a man who knows is David Nemeth from OneWeb, and David is with me now. David, thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, Katie. I'm so happy to be here.
David, you're the Director of Systems Modelling at OneWeb. In a nutshell, what does that mean?
So my team is responsible for doing really detailed models of the satellites flying and connecting to ground stations and connecting the users, and really making sure that we've got the capacity that we want and that we know how to run the system properly.
Very important work. And we're coming up now on the scheduled separation of the next stage. We use a hot stage technique on Soyuz, which means we switch on the engine of the third stage before we separate the second stage. And more cameras there on a previous launch showing us.
Allumage bloc I, extinction bloc A et séparation.
And we have the confirmation there from the range operations manager. So we are now burning the third stage, and that's what it looks like. David, you can see your satellites for the first time. Can you talk through for us what we're looking at?
So what we're seeing here is the dispenser, which has 4 rings, which would, in this design, mount 32 satellites. We're launching 6 today, plus 6 mass frequency simulators. And the first 2 satellites you saw were at the top there. Those are going to be the first 2 to be ejected. The dispenser, the shape of the satellites are sort of a trapezoid, and they fit around.
I'm just going to stop you for a second with trapezoid. Now, can we imagine a triangle and cut the top off?
Very much like it. One way to think of it is like corn on the cob, and that's like the kernel. And it's narrow at the bottom and it's wider at the top. And the satellites were actually designed that way so that we could efficiently put them in the dispenser and still use the most volume possible for our design.
So, with your corn on the cob analogy, then, the tube that we were looking at back there in the middle is the dispenser. So the tube is the corn.
The tube
is the cob.
The tube is the cob, which we will throw away when we're done. And the kernels are the satellites, which are we launching off now into space, and which will start providing service for us.
Our team's looking very relaxed in there. The OneWeb teams, we're looking inside here, the Mission Control Center inside the fishbowl, given that it's got glass all the way around it. Just a reminder that we have the information on the screen there. Now this is a replay we're going to look at. It happened, we lifted off, 7 minutes ago from the pad, David. I sent David outside to watch it from the terraces, because you can't come here and not watch it with your own eyes. What was it like, David?
So I saw the satellite sitting on the ground earlier, and just now as I was outside, there was a fair bit of cloud cover, but we got a good view of it coming up initially and seeing the very, very bright flames coming out of the back. And it's an emotional experience. I mean, the experience is one of something we've been anticipating for a long time, and it's really exciting, but to see it going up is it's like a relief. We've arrived at a point. I know we have a lot to go, but but it's really happy to see it sent off on its way.
And you saw the launcher with the satellites inside. As you said, you saw that on the pad earlier today. That must have been quite emotional as well.
That was extraordinary. When they take you on the bus to see the satellite, you don't see it until the very end. You sort of come around the back, and then you see the open...
to see the launcher, you mean?
The launcher, right. You come around the back, and the doors are open on the surrounding building. And there it is in all its glory, and it was just remarkable to think that all of this building and all of this huge launcher was all for these satellites getting up to where we need them to go.
And of course, with our cameras, we got a very good shot as well of the boosters separating, which I doubt you will have seen with the naked eye. David, we're flying north. Can you just give us a bit of an idea of our flight path today?
Sure. So this satellite's going into a polar orbit, which means that it's going to be flying over the poles. It's going to start off coming up from French Guiana, which is on the equator, up past the east coast of Canada, over the North Pole, and then it's going to come down the other side past China, Southeast Asia, through Australia, swing over the South Pole, and then come up again a little bit west of here, because the Earth will have turned a little bit while the satellite has gone around.
So we're tracking the launcher using what we call telemetry. We have telemetry stations or tracking stations picking up the signal. And Bermuda is the station we're using right now. This is the separation now of the third stage. It's burnt its fuel every time each section of the launcher. And we have confirmation there of that separation. Every time the launcher, section of the launcher uses up its... and he is confirming there that we've picked up the signal at the tracking station in Bermuda. So that's good. So we're starting the next phase of the journey now. The frigate upper stage is taking the wheel. It's getting ready to switch its engine on, actually. It's called the pre-burn phase, which means it gives a quick burst of acceleration to push the fluids back into the tanks, and that's to make sure that there's enough propellant in the engine. It's a bit like, isn't it, when you're in a car and you press the accelerator and you get pushed against the seat.
Exactly. I think of it more like it's when you have a bottle of ketchup and the ketchup's not coming out, and then you just get air, and you give it a good shake, and all of the ketchup goes to the front so that you can squeeze it out in a nice, smooth squirt. That's exactly what we're doing with the fuel in the frigate right now.
So the upper stage is taking us, I guess you could think of it as a bit of a kind of clever taxi driver, if you like. It can take its satellites anywhere they want to go. Where is it taking you guys today?
So our initial orbit today, as I said, is a polar orbit. We're going to go up to 1,000 kilometers, and they will be dropped off there. At that point, the OneWeb system the OneWeb flight operations team will take control of them and raise them up to their final orbit of 1,200 kilometers. So they have another 200 kilometers to go after today.
So they've got a bit of a journey, and they'll be doing those 200 kilometres on their own, supported obviously by the teams on the ground. It's all automated. Just a quick run through of what you're looking at on the screen. Top right hand corner, the trajectory, the planned trajectory, and the cross is the actual position. And there on the bottom right is the flight path you can see there that David just talked us through. Now let's see how Ariane Space has met the challenge of creating the OneWeb.
Tonight is the Soyuz Launch VS-21, the second launch of the year and, more importantly, the first launch of the ambitious OneWeb Constellation program. VS-21 mission is to bring the first 6 OneWeb spacecraft into a low Earth orbit, close to their operational orbit. This Soyuz flight will also embark 4 mass flight simulators mated with the OneWeb F6 spacecraft on an innovative dispenser system specifically designed for OneWeb. The OneWeb F6 satellites have been developed and manufactured by OneWeb Satellites in its serial production line in Toulouse. This first launch is an important milestone for the initial deployment of the OneWeb constellation that will be ensured with 20 other Soyuz launches performed from 3 different launch pads: Kourou in French Guiana, Baikonur in Kazakhstan, and Vostochny in Russia. For Arianespace, the journey began in June 2015 when OneWeb trusted on us to think out of the box for meeting the huge challenge to put in orbit over 600 satellites, with 21 launches of up to 32 spacecraft and to be performed in less than 2 years. I would like to thank all the teams involved in this program, in particular OneWeb and OneWeb Satellites project teams, and also RUAG Space team. Constructive and pragmatic approaches with the same common goal have been always preferred for the benefits of this ambitious program. We have performed a really great job since 2015, which will continue throughout the deployment launches phase.
So lots of people involved in this project, David.
Yes, absolutely. And I think now would be a good time to mention that the satellites and the rockets are all what we're looking at today, and that's great stuff. But it wouldn't work without a communication systems, and a lot of design work and a lot of really innovative thinking went in by our key technology partners, Qualcomm and Hughes Network Systems, to build a system that could actually transfer data over these satellites.
Number of people we're looking at here in the audience, Sir Richard Branson, and all watching intently. And so the speed and altitude, we are now travelling at 194 kilometres. Sorry, we're above the Earth, 194 kilometres altitude. We're travelling at coming up for 8 kilometres per second. 8 kilometres per second, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, not 8 kilometres per minute. That is extremely fast. Now, this coming up to the scheduled moment here, frigate shutting down its engine. This is the scheduled frigate cutoff. We get our confirmations a little bit later because the information needs to go via Moscow. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer, which is perfectly normal. It's all planned that way. Once frigate switches its engine off, we enter what we call the ballistic phase. And ballistic is probably a word I'm guessing that you've heard quite a lot over the years. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that it means travelling without propulsion. So we are travelling high enough and fast enough to be able to switch the engine off and cruise without it. Various reasons. And to save on propellant and optimize the conditions. He says all the propulsion parameters are going well. OneWeb's doing a lot of work, important work, changing lives.
Half the world is unconnected. The tendency is to think, wow, the unconnected must be really missing out. But the connected are missing out just as much. What types of culture, traditions, knowledge, and talent is the rest of the world missing out on? OneWeb's mission is to connect all the unconnected schools in the world, and there are many. The reason why we are here in Caracola is because it is so remote and so difficult to get to. Satellite internet is essential if we're going to be connected.
So when I said changing lives, I mean really changing lives. Bringing internet connections into schools must make a huge difference.
So connecting schools has always been one of the missions from the very beginning of OneWeb, one of the very important missions. And in support of that, we have sent emissaries to 6 schools around the world. You saw one of them there. And as part of that program, the children of the schools got to name the first 6 satellites. So we can go online to learn more about where these names come from and what they mean. But the school in Nepal named theirs Sherpasat. The school from Honduras named theirs Lempirasat. The school from Ecuador named it Chusigsat. the school from Rwanda named it Ikirikesosat. The Kyrgyzstan school named it Chingissat, and the Alaska school named it Nanooksat. Which are much better names than we call them in the engineering side, which are things like F6, F10, and F11.
Well, I have to say, I think those are beautiful names, and congratulations to all of the children who thought of that and worked hard to find lovely names for the 6 satellites. We're in the ballistic phase. We are going to take a break now for about just over 20 minutes and switch off our microphones. We'll be coming back to you in just over 20 minutes at 17 minutes past 7 French Guiana time. That is 17 minutes past 10 Universal time and 17 minutes past 5 in Washington. We'll leave you with a beautiful replay of the launch.
Alright, so they're taking a break for a little bit. Now is the time to ask me questions, although I might have to get up in a little bit and feed the dogs because it is that time. The dogs need to be fed. We were discussing in chat the speed of the satellite internet. They're projecting 50 megabits per second. That's comparable to the speed of my cable internet, but I really don't know if that's going to be per satellite. I don't know if that's per, downlink or connection. I really didn't dig deep enough to find out how that 50 megabits per second is supposed to be divided up. Like, does each customer get 50 megabits, or is one satellite's downlink 50 megabits? If it is each customer getting one downlink of 50 megabits, yeah, it's good enough to game on. I have had limited experience with satellite internet, and it has not been the greatest at all. It has been very slow, a lot of latency, a lot of problems, but it's better than nothing. And as DPI says, current satellite internet goes to GEO, which is bad for gaming. And Trillian HTO says, I've dealt with sat phones. It's not so much the download speed, it's the latency. Yeah, I remember latency being an issue. The most experience I've had with satellite internet is not being the one using the satellite internet, but connecting to Skype with somebody that's using satellite internet. And rather than like connecting to Skype with somebody in the US where I could see and hear everything clearly, it was not very clear. If there was latency, Skype corrected for it, or I just got used to it. Someone is playing WoW secretly. I actually have tried to play WoW over satellite internet in Colorado. It was impossible. And yeah, I used Skype several years ago. Yeah, it was Annie secretly playing WoW on satellite internet. Yeah. But the first commercial customers are it's planned to be boats, which is good, Boats don't really have access to the internet. And planes, which planes already have access to the internet, so I'm assuming it's going to be faster speeds to the internet. I don't know. Yeah. As DPI says, OneWeb goes to low Earth orbit, 1,200 kilometers, which probably will be a lot less latency depending on where the uplinks are. Yeah. From what I've seen on the website, customers get this little, looks like a large puck, or at least they're saying that they'll get a large puck. Yes, I said your name, buddy. And just for that, bits for the dogs. and that's their connection. So, yeah. But connecting schools to the internet, that speed, even with the latency, is going to be enough to get emails. That's going to be enough to slowly download things. Excuse me. Emails, slowly download things, possibly browse the web, possibly do some chatting, maybe some video chatting. So I guess it depends. I'm not entirely too sure. Archie Haddock asks, satellite phones are unstable. Do they work in the same way? I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with satellite phones, just satellite internet. Where I've been in the world, I've always been able to use a cell phone. That's not true for other people that have been in my life, where, you know, a satellite phone would have, you know, given them the ability to connect otherwise. But my understanding is that satellite phones aren't cheap. So I don't know. This random info says collaboration, distribution, massive potential. Yes. Yeah, these things are important, and for some of these schools that are unconnected, that they're going to connect, they're pretty remote, and they might just do things as simple as, it would be cool if they paired up with, you know, schools in other places and the students got to talk to each other like a pen pal thing, but, you know, that might happen, that might not happen. They might just be able to see how other people around the world live. They may be able to share how they live. You know, not everybody does the same thing every day. Not everybody goes to work the same way. Not everybody goes to school the same way. Not everybody cooks the same things. It's all these little things. And they can really add up. And there are some things that other places do could really benefit other places. So, yeah, that's my thought. Think of what access to the internet did for us connected humans already, and then that for every school on Earth. Yeah. Trillian says, satellite phones are great for hikers and climbers. Phones are not extremely expensive, but the calls are, so they are great for emergencies. Yeah. I think that's what I thought about them being expensive. Drop Bear Antics, I'm also wondering, how much is it going to cost for a school in Africa to connect to the system? It can't be free, right? That is a very good question, and as you pointed out before, affordable is relative. So the only African country I have any even somewhat experience with is Kenya, because I have some Kenyan friends, and 100 Kenyan shillings is about, I think it's about $1, right? So 100 Kenyan shillings gets you a decent amount of stuff in Kenya. $1 doesn't hardly get you anything in America. I remember taking them shopping, and I think it was simple things like a spatula, or there was something that was about $7, and I remember one of my friends just being like, this is so much, this is 700 shillings. So yeah, something that's like cheap for us, be like, okay, you know, $7, yeah, sure, I can afford this, to 700 shillings was just like mind blown. So you're right. It's probably not going to be free. I don't know if it's going to be discounted for the schools. There's part of me that really hopes that it is. I haven't dug deep enough into this to really find out what the prices are going to be. They're expecting to get it to work later this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's pushed out till 2020. So while I'm thinking about it, and while the that's, you know, essentially on hold. Maybe they'll accept General Mills cereal tops in place payment. That'd be nice, right? Be like, here, take some cereal tops. So I'm gonna move chat to where I can see it, and I'm going to quickly search for OneWeb stuff. I didn't do a whole lot of deep diving into this. I did enough poking around, but not a whole lot. I know for a lot of the really updated stuff, I actually had to go to Twitter. So, would assume schools would be subsidized by things like oil exploration companies happily paying huge amounts for the service. I mean, that sounds terrible, but I don't think you're wrong. Oh, and of course now I find their official satellite, or their official website. Oh, this is talking about the spacecraft, not the service. Let's see. Go and search their thing. Apparently, every 10% increase in internet penetration brings 1.5% growth in gross domestic product. Okay, that's neat. The biggest shareholder of OneWeb is SoftBank, interestingly. Yeah, I noticed that last night, too. So I'm going to go ahead and share the web address for this, because some of you guys might be able to find what I'm looking for faster. And I really don't think they're ready to do... See, for their in-flight connectivity, they're saying low latency 5G quality to 3,500 feet, or 35,000 feet. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I want it to work because we just need better satellite internet. We really do. But I'm not finding... I'm really not finding anything about cost. Well, thank you for joining us, Random Info. And yeah, have a good night. Thanks for joining us. I'm probably going to take a break in a second, where I will get up and mute the mic and feed the dogs, because let me show you all. As soon as I can figure it out. Because the dogs are begging for dinner. Like, really begging for dinner. And you can only see the little one. But, alright. Bye, Peacock! Thanks for joining us. I'm glad you stumbled across the stream. So, yeah, the dogs are begging for food. It is a little after 5 o'clock Eastern time. Guess what time they eat dinner? 5 o'clock Eastern time. Guess what time they start asking for dinner? 4 o'clock Eastern time. So yeah, I'm going to get up and feed the dogs and mute the mic so you don't have to listen to them barking and begging, and I should be back in just a few minutes. I'm gonna leave you with this screen, and yeah, I'll be right back. You're right, Q. One does not forget to feed the cat, ever. Oh my. I think it's the dogs barking that set him off and be like, hey, Mom, it's time to feed me too. Don't forget to feed me. He just wasn't around when I was there to feed him. So, now that everybody's fed and happy and hopefully quiet, yeah. Except my green screen moved. Which side is it? It's this side. There we go. Ooh, okay, so we have, what, 4 minutes till they start up again? Bad Panda Bear says, looking at one of their press releases, I see they claim no more than 50 millisecond latency. I haven't found anything related to price yet. Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of people would be really interested in the price. Let me do a Google search. Yeah, the only thing DPI said that they could find related to price was affordable, which really isn't, a whole lot. It's not a whole lot of information. Trillian says, sub 50 millisecond latency has me hooked. Now I just want to see it. I know, right? Apparently people have asked how much is satellite internet monthly. And according to reviews.org, you can get a decent satellite internet plan from either Viasat or HughesNet for about $50 per month, which is comparable to cable or DSL. Okay. I'm trying to pull up other nets. SpaceX offers affordable launches under 100 millions, but too rich for my blood. I know, right? They're like, oh, it's affordable. Affordable is indeed relative. There's an interesting internet on Wired. Yeah, it would have, for me to consider it to be affordable, it would have to be $50. It would have to be under $50. Thing is, all those people that they want to provide with the internet, they might not actually want it. This is an interesting read. It's long. Because Facebook, yeah, $50 a month is still a lot in Africa. You're right. That's, what, 50,000? Yeah, that's 50,000 Kenyan shillings. I know for a fact that I would live very comfortably in Kenya off of $1,000 a month. So, yeah. This is a really long article. And I may actually have to read this later. Oh, things are happening. To pull up the right thing. They're showing the thing, but I'm not getting any sound.
Here on Earth. Right now, the 6 satellites are riding bareback on the frigate upper stage, what's left of our launch vehicle, and they are hurtling through space. Now, David Nemeth has been with me in the commentary box. David, you're here on the floor with us as well, so you can actually see him in real life. David, we've got lots of people watching us. Where are your people, OneWeb, watching us from?
So OneWeb has offices all over the world, and we have parties at every one of them. So we have people in London. We have people, shout out to the people in California. We have people in Virginia. There's actually 3 separate offices in Virginia.
And David, this was 41 minutes ago. You saw this, you were standing outside watching it. We watched it on the screens here at the Mission Control Center. It was a really spectacular launch, looking at it from my perspective on the screen. What was it like for you out there?
It was an interesting experience, because in one hand you're saying goodbye, but in the other hand you're saying hello to something, because these satellites have been inert and they will be inert until they're released. And so though we won't be able to actually see them and touch them again, we'll actually be able to get to know them and interact with them. So it's really exciting to watch it go up and think that I'm actually going to get to meet them for the first time soon.
We've got a great view of the boosters being jettisoned. The boosters are the 4 rockets on the side of the vehicle, and you can see how they twist and turn. This has all been very carefully planned that way. Once we lost the boosters, then the fairing was jettisoned, so our satellites were exposed to space. Then we switched on the 2nd, then the 3rd stage, and we picked up our signal at the Bermuda tracking station, heading north out towards the poles. Then we switched off the engine on the 3rd stage, and then the next part of the journey began when the frigate upper stage switched its engine on. And we said that frigate is a little bit like a clever taxi driver, takes our satellites wherever they want to go. Frigate then switched its engine off again, and we went into what we call a ballistic phase. Ballistic meaning we are traveling without the engine, and that's precisely what's happening now. Indeed, frigate is also doing something called a barbecue, which means it's twisting as if on a spit, as if on a rotisserie, as you say in American, because why is that?
It's to keep it evenly heated on all, just like a rotisserie. When you're cooking, you want to keep it evenly warmed on all sides, so nothing gets too hot and nothing gets too cold.
So 43 minutes and 10 seconds into the launch. Just give us an overview briefly, David, of what OneWeb actually is.
So OneWeb is a project to provide global connectivity. And what that really means for us is that we need to make a system where wherever you are in the world, when you look up, there's a OneWeb satellite over your that can provide you service. And it's a constellation of hundreds and hundreds of satellites in 12 planes, and it's a really remarkable thing to have this many satellites providing communication, because what it means is that there's a lot of capacity.
Absolutely. So let's just take a little closer look now at the constellation.
There are nearly 8 billion people living in the world. Can you imagine the opportunities we could create by connecting them all? We can. So we've brought together world-class partners from a range of industries to revolutionize global communications, rapidly progressing from imagining to launching. We've transformed the satellite manufacturing process, producing the most efficient communications satellites yet. We've installed antennas around the world, with more coming every day. And we've built teams with deep knowledge that continue to fuel our progress. As we speed towards global service delivery, we'll continue to hit major milestones along the way, culminating in a global network that delivers low-latency, high-speed connectivity through a constellation of satellites and ground systems by providing accessible broadband quality for everyone, everywhere, for today and tomorrow. We'll change satellite communications for the world, on the water, in the air, and on the ground. OneWeb is going to connect the dreamers, thinkers, doers everywhere. We're reimagining global communications so the global imagination can be unleashed. Get ready for a new world of connectivity. One world, one web.
One world, one web, access for everyone. It's a big, ambitious, and very, very innovative project. But what makes the OneWeb constellation different from other telecommunications constellations?
So the size, right? The number of satellites we have to have, and the amount of infrastructure we have to support it, changed not only. It had to change the way we thought about it from the design from the very beginning, right? It has. There was a lot of technology that exists. In a lot of cases, none of it was quite right? So things had to be changed. Things that we knew how to make 10 of, we had to figure out how to make 10,000 of. And so just the scale of the number of satellites we have to produce, the number of launches, the amount of ground infrastructure is simply astounding. And once that exists and comes into existence, we need an equally powerful system to manage it, to track it. We're going to have more information about some of these flight components than anyone else in the world because of the enormous number of flight hours we're going to have because we have so many units up in the sky. So it's a fantastic opportunity not only to provide a great service, but to learn a whole lot about the technology that exists today in a much greater level of detail.
But also, I mean, the huge challenges involved in building something from scratch, something which is brand new, effectively almost from, an idea in somebody's mind.
So exactly, and we had to get a lot of people to think differently about what it is that they normally did in a particular way. That included the way things were designed. It's one thing to build 100 of something every year, but if you're then asked to build 10,000, it's not just enough to hire 100 times as many people as you had before. Exactly. You have to think of a new way to do it, and you have to think of a clever way to do it.
And the people who have been doing that for the first 6 satellites are Airbus OneWeb satellites who've built the first 6. Let's hear from them, from Airbus.
Dear customers, colleagues, partners and friends of the space industry, I'm really excited with the launch of the first satellites of the OneWeb constellation and proud to tell you, yes, we made it. The design and manufacturing of the OneWeb satellites is the next chapter in a new space story and a revolutionary game changer in the space ecosystem. What we've done has never been done before in the space industry. In a record time, Airbus and a joint venture with OneWeb, together with our industrial partners, have designed and produced here in the Airbus facilities in Toulouse the first satellites of the OneWeb constellation.
Well, it looks like we've had a bit of a problem with our film there, which is a shame, but we can talk just a little bit about the manufacturing process, which has been incredibly innovative. You've had to develop, as you were saying before, it's one thing, building a certain small number of satellites, but actually building, it looks like we might be able to go back to our film. Oh, yes, and we have been able to.
I'm really excited with the launch of the first satellites of the OneWeb constellation and proud to tell you, yes, we made it. The design and manufacturing of the OneWeb satellites is the next chapter in a new space story and a revolutionary game changer in the space ecosystem. What we've done has never been done before in the space industry. In a record time, Airbus and a joint venture with OneWeb, together with our industrial partners, have designed and produced here in the Airbus facilities in Toulouse the first satellites of the OneWeb constellation. And this has been enabled by dedicated industrial facilities and solutions for the series manufacturing. Everything is ready for the mass production of several satellites per day. This has really inspired us to develop new mindset in all areas, in design, in equipment supply, and in new approaches for production and test processes. This is real new space. We have successfully combined the innovation and large volume manufacturing techniques from aircraft production together with a big experience in building extremely reliable, high-performance space systems. The agility and flexibility of Team Airbus enables us to continue to be a major player in the rapidly evolving global space market. Airbus is totally engaged with Airbus OneWeb satellites to provide the customers with a high-performance and reliable system connecting the world. Airbus OneWeb satellites will now focus on ramping up production of the full constellation in its new factory in Florida, demonstrating once again agility. And I'm extremely proud of all the teams, Airbus, OneWeb, and the joint venture Airbus OneWeb satellites teams, all our industrial partners who have worked together, sharing know-how, efforts, and a lot of passion to make this new space a reality. Congratulations. This is the end of the beginning.
The beginning. But what happens next, David?
So once these satellites are in our hands, it's time to take all of this communications technology we've developed out of the lab and into the real world and test it over the air on real spacecraft.
And that's a really important phase, of course.
It's a big step because the real world conditions and the lab conditions are never quite the same. And we're doing a lot of stuff with that technology, and it's going to be really exciting to see that all come together.
So we know that there's a big difference between building 1 or 10 satellites to building, say, 600. And as you say, it's the end of the beginning. So let's take a look now at the film called The End of the Beginning.
Technological revolutions begin when it's time to evolve, when the needs of the future change. This story was written by many visionaries. They changed the way we move, the way we communicate, the way we think, and how we lead our lives. And now we're writing our own story, realizing the next technological revolution in space, in building constellations of thousands of satellites at speeds far faster and at costs far lower than anything seen before, to make a quantum leap in global connectivity and access. Inspired by visionaries like Henry Ford, we made the bet of producing satellites like we build cars and airplanes on high-volume automated production lines. And today, we can produce 2 satellites a day. We designed from scratch independent and automated modules to build and test each satellite components. And today, costs, production, and testing time are minimized, and we give life to satellites in a fully digitized mass production assembly line. We wanted to create a modular and customizable satellite, and today, we can adjust our design for innumerable configurations to meet all the needs. We decided to integrate non-traditional partners, but with solid industrial heritage. And today, we combine the best of space together with the most innovative manufacturing technologies. We brought together a handful of creative people to change the way we think. And today, we are more than 200 people from broad backgrounds working together to realize the revolution in space. The world moves fast. We move faster. 3 years ago, we sought to create a new industry. And today, we're ready. Today, we're on the firing point, ready to take on all the new businesses and challenges. This is the story of a revolution in space.
Bienvenue and welcome to Kourou, the end of the beginning. A next step for our new space endeavor. Our Airbus OneWeb Satellites joint venture is just over 3 years old, and what we have accomplished is incredible. We started from a concept, and today we launch our first satellites. I'm proud of our team. They have worked tirelessly to realize this. And as you saw in the video, we are transforming the space industry. OneWeb, Airbus, and our industry partners are part of this story. Together, we are defining a new future in space, opening access to all, and building a new space ecosystem. Part of our DNA is captured in the words of a famous philosopher. Do or not do, there is no try. Join us. Congratulations, everyone, and bon voyage, F6.
And there they are, the guys who we've been hearing from, sitting in the Mission Control Centre. The two from Airbus OneWeb Satellites, the manufacturers who've been incredibly innovative in building our first 6 satellites. So, the frigate upper stage is scheduled to switch its engine on in just under a minute. So we are scheduled to be in the second pre-burn phase. We're having another catch-up moment. And if you look at the top right-hand side, well, let's just tell everybody what a catch-up moment is, as David explained earlier.
So this is, as I said earlier, you thrust a little bit to move the fuel to one side, just like giving the bottle of ketchup a good shake so that you can get it out of the hole properly.
Scheduled frigate second ignition. That means it's scheduled to switch its engine on again, and that's what it looks like. Frigate at that upper stage there, the gold structure with the spherical tanks on it. Some of those containing fuel and some of them containing things like avionics, the kind of things that you find on an aeroplane. It was originally designed as an interplanetary probe, and it was adapted to fly on Soyuz, David. It can take its passengers pretty well anywhere they want to go, and it can actually switch its engine on up to 20 times.
And that's very important for the OneWeb dispenser. So in this case, we're dispensing 6 satellites, but in the future, we'll be dispensing much more than that. And as we dispense the satellites a few at a time, it's important to thrust between releasing the satellites so that you can put a little bit of distance and put a little bit of velocity difference between the satellites to ensure that they are not at any risk of coming too close together, and to also space them out a little bit when they fly over the telemetry station for the first time in the North Pole.
Make sure that they don't bang into each other. And on the top right-hand side of the screen, you can see we're really climbed up to space now. We took a steep climb at the beginning, then we dipped down a bit. That's called the roller coaster phase, where we lose a bit of altitude in order to gain speed so that we can climb higher later in the flight. And now we've come up to a sort of a plateau-y kind of area, which means that we're on our orbit. If you look at the bottom left-hand side of your screen, our altitude is 1,000 kilometers above our Earth, and that is what we call our separation orbit. So we are now coasting without the engine. Frigate's getting ready to release the first 2 satellites. He's telling us that everything's going according to plan. We need to position them very precisely. We're going to release 2 and then 4. Why is that? How does that work?
So we would normally be releasing 4 at a time. In this case, we have 6 satellites, so we have to release 2 first and then 4. And the reason that you want to release multiple satellites at the time is just to reduce the amount of time it takes to get all of the satellites off the dispenser. So you don't want to release them all at once because they're too close together and they sort of will travel in a big heap over the North Pole. But if you release them one on a time, this mission would take a very, very long time to complete. And so we had to balance between getting things out effectively but doing it safely.
Just let's run through those speeds and altitudes again. Our distance in the middle.
Confirmation de l'extinction.
And he has confirmation there of the switch off of the upper stage. Just the distance is as if you were to draw a straight line from the pad to where the launcher is. And you can see we've travelled over 16.
over 16,000 kilometers. And he's telling us that we're going into an orientation maneuver. Now, Andreas Dulvaris, who we've seen earlier, he's in charge of getting ready for today from OneWeb's side.
As we embark on this historic journey, I would like to thank all of those who have made this day a reality. I have been extremely pleased with how smooth this campaign has gone, which is a testament to all the hard work that people have put into the preparation for the launch campaign. I would like to thank the OneWeb satellite team, a joint venture between OneWeb and Airbus Defence and Space. Without them, we would not be here. They have truly done an amazing job in not only designing the satellite, but designing the first ever satellite production line that will be used to manufacture over 600 satellites. This is revolutionary in the space industry. I would like to thank the CSG staff for their support and cooperation, as their facilities and safety support are a critical element for a successful launch. Finally, I would like to thank our strategic partners, Arianespace and Ruach Space Linköping, as they are critical members of the OneWeb team. This is not your typical launch service provider customer relationship. This is much more. Both Arianespace and Ruach Space have not only designed the first ever smart dispenser, but have been integrated in the OneWeb factory and responsible for the integration during the launch campaign. Today, we start this historic journey by launching 6 OneWeb satellites into a 1,000-kilometer circular orbit. Once we reach this orbit, the Ruach Smart Dispenser will deploy the first 2 satellites approximately 1 hour after launch. Then the remaining 4 OneWeb satellites approximately 20 minutes later. After the satellites are deployed, they will turn on and autonomously transition to a sun-pointing attitude. From there, the fleet management team will transition the satellites to the mission Earth-pointing orientation. Once the satellites are ready, they will be ascended to the mission orbit of 1,200 kilometers, which should take approximately 60 days, after which the satellites will go through a commissioning campaign, making them ready for use.
And there's Andreas in the Mission Control Center.
So that's a great reminder for me. I mean, I've been mostly on the side of developing the communication systems, and one of the great things about OneWeb is that you get to a point like this and you find that for 3 years somebody is working tirelessly to develop an amazing piece of technology that you didn't even know you needed, and here it is all ready to go. And just the skill and the professionalism that everyone has brought to this, that it just comes out of the woodwork, it seems like, just from that section. And so it's been great to see this day and to understand what Andreas has been doing sitting there for the last 3 years, because I never really fully understood it before.
Well, now you're getting a better idea. And I have to say, I think it's a feat of human engineering, really, what the teams do in the world of space engineering, because, it's so innovative and so remarkable. And there's Greg Weiler, who founded the company, I believe. So we're now in the orientation phase. What's happening here is we're getting closer to releasing our satellites. The upper stage, the frigate. Oh, and here we are. Look, we have the scheduled moment
yes.
for those first 2 satellites to
so
be
you can
released.
see them moving away from each other, and that's to give them to make sure that they spend as much time as far away from each other as possible. That puts them in very slightly different orbits to avoid the possibility of them getting too close.
And you can see there the trapezoid or trapezoid shape of them, a little bit like the corn on the cob, and you can see how that makes them fit very nicely onto this very specially designed dispenser. The dispenser being that tube in the middle, designed to host the satellites, but also to release them. So it's a very clever piece of kit. So we are going to wait for the confirmation of that separation, which our range operations manager gives us. And while we're waiting for
Confirmation de la séparation des 2 premiers satellites OneWeb, position 4 et 8, rang C.
And he's confirmed that we have separated your first 2 satellites, David. So that's a good start. We still have, and everyone's very happy there in Mission Control. And I can tell you that David's got a big smile on his face too.
So just so everybody knows, those 2 satellites were SherpaSat, named by the school in Nepal, and ChuSigSat, named by the school in Ecuador.
Great. And we still have 4 satellites attached. So obviously we're going to be waiting. We have to release those, and then we'll need to go into the tracking station to pick up their signal. But let's just talk a little bit about what's happening to our first 2 satellites now, David. Who's flying them? What's happening?
So right now they're on their own because they have been released from the dispenser and they have not yet come in contact with our telemetry and control station. And fortunately, they know exactly what to do. So they have been powered down. The onboard computers have been completely powered off to save the battery charge on the satellite while they've been waiting for launch. Now that they've been released, they will turn on, the onboard computer will turn on, and the first thing that it will do is run some current through a wire, which will melt it and release a very, very clever spring mechanism, which will release the solar panels. The next thing that it will do is it will decide that it needs a nice suntan, and it will go into sun pointing mode, and it point its body so that it's getting the maximum amount of solar radiation so that it can maintain a positive charge on the battery. And it'll wait there, and it'll wait until it flies over the telemetry and command, at which point our fleet operations team will get in touch with it and tell it what to do next.
So it's sunbathing. They're sunbathing.
They are sunbathing right now, which is funny because it's very cold up there, but it's very sunny as well.
And Arianespace is very well equipped to launch constellations of satellites. They have lots of experience already.
Contract was signed between Arianespace and OneWeb in June 2015 for 21 Soyuz launches. We are now about to place into orbit the 6 first OneWeb satellites. On top of offering a highly reliable launch solution, Arianespace was chosen by OneWeb for its team's ability to work on complex projects, including the development of innovative solutions such as the specific OneWeb dispenser system. A dedicated organization has been set up in Arianespace to meet the many challenges of the program and to be able to ensure 1 launch per month during the deployment phase. Regarding launch vehicle, Soyuz was the adequate solution to answer OneWeb requirements to deploy about 650 satellites within a 2-year period timeframe. Soyuz launch vehicle fitting to Constellation's need has been already demonstrated with more than 15 launches performed to low Earth orbit missions for other Constellation's programs. The frigate upper stage versatility associated with the dedicated dispenser allowed to perfectly answer to the OneWeb mission requirements. Arianespace and Starsem offer was based on the capability to operate the Soyuz launch vehicle from 3 launch pads, 1 in French Guiana, 1 in Kazakhstan, and 1 in Russia. This unique opportunity provides higher flexibility and reliability for the benefit of OneWeb. Launching from different launch sites will secure the deployment schedule, which is key to OneWeb, and this without preventing to serve other customers. Soyuz frigate proven industrial production capability was also essential to select the launch vehicle. The OneWeb demand led to almost double the standard production rate for a while. Only Soyuz frigate could meet this very demanding challenge.
Arianespace led the development of a new dispenser under OneWeb dedicated contract. This activity has been entrusted to Arianespace at Lidköping, Sweden. The main characteristic of OneWeb dispenser is to carry up to 32 satellites at a time and to separate them 4x4 with great accuracy. To answer OneWeb requests, new solutions were mandatory. Innovative technology was applied to trigger up to 256 redundant initiators, managing the smooth activation of the 4 connecting bolts of each spacecraft. Pre-integration of satellite on the dispenser at the factory to shorten the activity at the launch sites, allowing the high launch rate of 1 per month requested by OneWeb. OneWeb dispenser is a flexible and modular product. This made very easy its adaptation to the specific configuration of VS-21 with 6 spacecraft and 4 mass simulators. In the same way, we are currently expanding its capacity to 36 satellites for the next flights. Finally, I would like to highlight the very good collaboration between OneWeb, Arianespace and Arianespace, which allowed to develop an innovative product answering challenging specifications.
Innovative indeed, and we have confirmation that the first 2 satellites have been separated from the dispenser, that tube in the middle, the cob in the corner on the cob, and they've moved away. Their next phase is sunbathing with their solar panels out in order to capture the rays from the sun and create electricity so that they can function. Now, Arianespace is, as we've heard, very, very expert at launching constellations. And just quickly before we go any further, for anybody who doesn't know quite what a constellation is, it actually means we've got more than one satellite in space, like a constellation of stars. You can have constellations of 2, 4 satellites, and of course you can have 80, and of course OneWeb is going to be 600 going on to 900. Now, launching that many satellites is really quite an innovative thing to do for any launch provider. And as I said, Arianespace is an expert. We've actually launched 109 satellites for constellations so far. And joining me now is Wiener Kernissen, who's the president of Arianespace Incorporated. Wiener, thank you very much indeed for coming to the floor. Wiener, that's an incredibly impressive track record, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. In fact, we've launched about 86 commercial satellites for constellation and about 23 for ESA and the European community.
All right.
And we still have about, in addition to this, approximately 600 satellites of OneWeb in our manifest, we have about 20 satellites for other customers, like the European community, ESA, and SES, for example. So we are
going to keep your microphone close.
Okay.
Thank you, Wiener.
We are indeed in the middle of this constellation, and we look forward to continue that.
Absolutely. And what makes Arianespace so good at launching constellations?
Well, let's put it that way. Arianespace is good at launching anything. But let's start with the constellation, since we're talking about constellation today. It turns out it starts with our relationship with the customer. And in this particular case, in OneWeb, I'm looking at some guys in front of me here. We were, from the beginning, I mean, when I said from the beginning, there must have been, 4 or 5 employees in the company when I started discussing OneWeb with those guys. And we had meetings at hotels here and there because there was no office, obviously. So that's how it started. And over time, we looked for solutions for OneWeb, and we ended up having found that the optimum solution for them is the Soyuz vehicle. But it turns out we did look at the Vega vehicle, we did look at the Ariane 5 vehicle, and we hope that in the future, Vega C and Ariane 6 will be part of the deployment of this of the constellation and the future constellation of OneWeb satellites.
Well, all I can say is I think you must all feel very proud, everybody who has been involved in this remarkable journey and this remarkable project.
It's not only proud, it's just you feel that you have accomplished something. And I think everybody, most of the people at OneWeb here in Kourou, in Virginia, in London, they all must feel very proud about this project. I mean, when I said I've seen people working day and night on this project, literally, it's not a joke because different time zone and they're always available on the phone, and it is a very proud moment for all of us.
Wiener, thank you very much indeed, and congratulations to everyone so far. We still have 4 satellites attached, and we're still going towards the separation of those. Wiener, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a look now at some of the constellations, in fact all of the constellations that we have launched.
Alright, so I'm going to mute this space commercial because it's not really directed about OneWeb, and it's just showing the constellations that they've previously launched, which is cool. But yeah, I just took a quick peek at that Wikipedia article that DPI shared, and yeah, that's a lot of space debris. They're saying 5 years as a lifespan, with about a year to dispose. And one of the problems is that low Earth orbit is already really, really, really congested. Like, super congested. So yeah, that's not awkward or anything. There's also additional concerns that are being brought up in the article, and I must have somehow missed this one entirely, so thanks for sharing, DPI. And I think another one of the articles I shared earlier was Weiler, which is the last name of the guy that started all this. I guess he was laying cable, I don't know if it was like traditional copper or if it was fiber optics in Africa, and was really, I guess, bummed out or disturbed by the lack of connection to some of these really remote places. And yeah, so that's how he got this idea for it. The other concerns, disillusioned, are Russia's not very thrilled about it. Russia does not want these satellites in their airspace because they are worried that they will be used for espionage purposes. I guess they tried to get clearance for go through Russia's thing to get clearance, and Russia was like, nope, because legal concerns. Which is curious because, you know, they're connecting, or they have a satellite sponsored or school sponsored by the satellite. I'm not sure. School connected is set to a one of the satellites, and that's in Kyrgyzstan. So
hour rather, and coming up to 17 minutes now into this launch. Let's just have a recap, David, on what's been happening so far. We're basically driving with our taxi driver to the next drop-off point to release our next 4 satellites.
So that's right. So our next 4 and final satellites are going to be dropped off. And then after that, we're actually going to do a bunch of practice maneuvers to simulate dropping off a full load of satellites, just to make sure all the maneuvers work and the frigate performs as expected.
Should we just remind everybody of our flight path?
Yes, so we are...
where did we lift off and where are we going?
So we just lifted off. We lifted off from Kourou, here in Kourou, and we have swung around the Earth, and we are...
We went past. We headed up over the North Pole, didn't we?
We headed up over the North Pole.
Yep. And we came back down.
And then we came back down, and then we were just in contact with New Norcia in Australia, and we are swinging around under Antarctica, and coming up the other side back towards the equator again.
Now, right now we're outside the tracking stations range. So what that means is the tracking stations... let's just explain to everybody a little bit about telemetry, because the tracking stations have great big dishes, and they're kind of watching out, listening out, sensing the launcher as it flies over. The launcher sends a signal back down to the ground. How does it work?
So the challenge with this is that the spacecraft is doing something all the time. It's collecting data, it's got sensors, and all this is being gathered on the onboard computer, and it's firing things, and it has to get confirmation that things worked properly. But we don't have tracking stations everywhere in the world. It's very hard to put a tracking station in Antarctica, and so on and so forth. And so what happens is that the computer will store the information that it's collecting, and it will wait for the next opportunity to talk. When it comes into a tracking station...
You can see them there. Gallio here in French Guiana.
Exactly.
Bermuda we picked up. Then St. Hubert in Canada is one of the tracking stations.
Exactly. So you could see we were just under Antarctica. There's nothing in Antarctica. So right now it's storing up the data for what it's doing. And when it comes back over a tracking station, it will establish the communications link. And the computer up there will say, oh, I can talk to the computer down here. Let me send it all of the data that I've collected until now.
sorry, go on.
So not just the frigate has obviously telemetry, and we're using that for this mission here. The OneWeb satellites do the same thing. Unlike a geo satellite, it also will fly over Antarctica, and it's very hard to talk to a satellite there. And so we actually have 2 tracking stations up near the North Pole, one in northern Canada, one in Svalbard. Svalbard is a little tiny island north of Norway, above the Arctic Circle, very, very close to the North Pole. And it's a very handy spot for us because every orbit travels over the North Pole and is visible every time it goes around. And so our satellites, just like the frigate here, as they go through their mission, will gather data, will gather performance data, will monitor things like battery charge and temperatures and so on and so forth. And then when they come around again, that is our opportunity to download all of that data into our systems and really take a close look at how the satellite's performing and what its state of health is.
And of course, all the teams in those tracking stations along the flight path, they're listening in as well to the range operations manager here at the Guiana Space Center. Now, the telemetry is received here at what we call the CVI. These are the teams who receive the information from the tracking station. So the vehicle sends the information to the tracking stations, who send it then to the CVI for them to analyze. They do various things. They use the information to see how the flight is progressing in real time. There's Claude Legrand, who we saw talking in an earlier film. And they also use the information to evaluate the flight, check it out, see how it went, and they use that information to optimize the following flights. Now, we also have a telemetry team in the control center in Moscow, the Mission Control Center there in Moscow. It's called SOUP, and you could just see back there, they have really great big screens in their Mission Control Center. I've actually seen those when I was doing astronauts launches, and it's really quite impressive to see an astronaut floating into the International Space Station on that great big screen.
Well, it seems to be a design characteristic because in our Fleet Operations Center in Tyson's Corner, we also have a very great big screen right now as well.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. You know what? Something that always strikes me is that it looks like things are happening very slowly in space, but actually they're happening very quickly. We're flying very fast. Although we don't have our telemetry information on the screen right now, I'm guessing we're flying in the region of about 7 kilometers per second. Now, we are going to be waiting to enter into the telemetry station in Galileo, but this is the scheduled moment for us to separate the next 4 satellites. Now, this is what it looks like. This is the simulated image, the CGI image based on the predictions, the data that the experts have put into the computer. You could see them there moving away in 4 directions opposite each other, couldn't you, David?
Exactly, and it's a very nice configuration to do, as it keeps the satellites far apart. It puts them in slightly different orbits, and it's a safe thing to do. You'll notice we did not release the mock satellites. That's very important because they need to come down again. One of the things you said about space, where things move fast and things move slow, it's very slow if you're next to the satellite, or next to the dispenser, which has just released something at a very pace. If something comes in another orbit, it can be coming at a very, very high velocity and do an enormous amount of damage. And so keeping space clean is a very, very big part of the OneWeb mission. And taking this dispenser and the mock satellites and taking them out of orbit when we are done with them is an important part of this. And when our OneWeb satellites are finished, we will be, as we replace them and as they end of life, we will be taking them out of orbit as well.
And just to remind everybody, we're going to be going back into the range of the next tracking station in about, probably about maybe 13 or 14 minutes time. Now, that tracking station's it's called Galileo, and it's the one that's here at the Guiana Space Center. So when we do that, we will have done a full lap of the Earth. But before we can confirm the separation of those satellites, we need to go back into that tracking station and as David was saying,
the satellites will check in there. And this is the launch pad, David. This is you can just see there what's left over. Now I have to tell everybody that when I've been on this launch pad, and you can't see them very easily, but there are some bushes right next to it which are always green, despite being right next to a launch pad, which is remarkable. It's fully lit.
So one thing we saw today was there's railing. So you've got the rocket and you've got the flame pit, and there's a little bar across with a railing with these little struts. One of the struts had a large wasp's nest on it, which has clearly been there for many, many, many months, and it seems to have been there, sitting there very happily through multiple Soyuz launches.
Remarkable. And here is the launch. This was over an hour and 20 minutes ago now. It was really nice seeing it. We've got our drone there, which is actually a new shot for us. We haven't had the drone that close yet, so this is really nice to see this. You can just see, on the ground, the gantry. That was the building that was covering the launcher. Great shots there of those engines burning, boosting us away from our planet. And lucky enough to see those 4 boosters being jettisoned. Oh, I love that picture of the twisting and the turning. It's like a ballet, and it's all been very carefully planned. So, David, let's just talk a little bit about OneWeb and how it works and what it does. This is a field that you are very much an expert in. Why should anybody really care whether their connectivity is over satellite or over fiber?
All right.
So that's a good question, and the answer is nobody should care. People should get service where they want it, get the kind of service and the kind of bandwidth they want, and it should be easy to get, and it should be reasonably priced. And they shouldn't have to understand if it's satellite or this or that. Really, a great system and a really great technology will almost disappear, and people will just understand no matter where I am. I can put down a terminal, I could put down a flat panel, I can turn it on, and it will find the satellite, it will get service, and I don't even have to, all I have to understand is that it needs to see the sky. That's all I need to know about satellite.
So how does yours look? How does yours work? What have you got? A box? Have you got a panel or a dish that you put on your building?
So we have a multiple. These are called the user terminals, right? And it's interesting to stop and think. We've got all the space stuff and we've got all the network stuff and all this big fancy equipment. But the thing about satellites, the end user doesn't see any of that, right? They don't need to know about that. I mean, they may think it is cool, like I do, and they'll want to know about that, right? But if all they want is internet service, right, they don't need to know about that. They just need to know that they have a user terminal. And for most people, that's how they're going to interact with the OneWeb system. And so we've put a lot of focus on making that process a lot easier than it's traditionally been. So in a traditional geosatellite, you've got a dish and you've got, a bunch of kit, and it's gotten better over the years, but it's still at the point where you have to point it at the satellite. You have to make sure it's turned the right way so it's not interfering with other satellites. You've got to line it up just so. Maybe you have a special piece of equipment, a special spectrum analyzer or something to get it all lined up, right? And really, what we've done with the OneWeb system is we've adopted the technology that cell phones use. It's called LTE, or long-term evolution, and we have adopted that. And the way your cell phone works is you just turn on the cell phone. You don't have to tell it where the nearest tower is. You don't have to tell it what frequency to use. You don't have to tell it anything. You get the phone, you take it out of the box, you plug it in, you put in your little SIM card so they know who you are, and then you're connected. Right? And the idea behind the OneWeb terminal is the same thing. You want to take it out of the box and put it down and be connected. So we have multiple designs. The very exciting one is the electronically steerable antenna. So we've actually just shown one, I think, at Mobile World Congress, which is this week in Barcelona. And this is a big flat panel. It is, it looks like there's a plastic shell to keep the electronics dry, right? But it's flat and it's wide. It's not very heavy. And all that somebody has to do is put it in a stable place with a view to the sky, and make sure it's level. I don't have to know which way to point it. I don't have to know anything about that. Just put it in, get it roughly level, and you're off to the races at that point.
That's great. I guess it's a bit like
I don't need to know how my TV works, but I do want to be able to use it.
Exactly. And when it gets too complicated that doesn't work, you get very annoyed at your television.
That's very true.
It shouldn't be that way.
Was it hard to develop this technology? It sounds quite complex. It sounds like a simple piece of kit, but it sounds like a lot of work went into actually developing that.
So electronically steerable antennas have been around for a long time. But they've always been specialty items, military items, that sort of thing. And like many things here, the revolution has been in getting something that used to be very expensive, very inexpensive. What's interesting is that we had to solve a lot of hard problems to get the OneWeb system to work at all. So the satellites move, and so you need an antenna that will track the satellites. I have to be able to switch from one satellite to the other in the middle of somebody watching Netflix, and they should experience no interruption whatsoever.
Hold that thought, David, because we have a film about OneWeb, and we're just going to take a look at this now.
Half of the entire world is unconnected. We're here at Caracola School in Nepal, one of millions of unconnected schools in the world.
Caracola is one of the remotest area of Nepal. The kids deserve to have the same opportunity that the other kids are having in the cities.
My name is Elina Thapamagar and I am 15 years old. I want to become a doctor because doctor can give people new life.
गाडीहरू बसहरू आउन प्लेनको लागि चाहिँ हामीसँग एकदम गाह्रो छ अनि सामग्रीहरू लिएर आउँदाखेरि पनि खच्चरबाट किताबहरू सबै हामीले काठमाडौँबाट चाहिँ बोकेर लिएर आउनुपर्छ यहाँ अहिले हाम्रो बच्चाहरुको धेरै राम्रो क्यारेक्टर उनीहरुको खुशी छ राम्रो छ र उनीहरुमा यस्तो क्युरियोसिटी छ उनीहरुलाई चाहिँ सिक्न चाहन्छ
My name is Pramisa Tamang. I want to be a staff nurse.
मेरो नाम मिङमा शेर्पा हो म ठुलो भएपछि चाहिँ मोडेलर हुन चाहन्छु
यदि हामीसँग इन्टरनेट भइदिएको भए युजबाट चाहिँ धेरै सजिलो हुन्छ हेर्न खोज्नको लागि पढ्नको लागि सजिलो हुन्छ
Access to information creates opportunity. For millions of kids who are unconnected, opportunity remains out of reach. With access to internet, distance is no longer an obstacle or a limitation on what kids can become, what they can learn about, what they can aspire to achieve.
Hello, I'm Arpana Rai, 17 years old, and I want to be a teacher.
नेपालमै पाइलट बन्न चाहन्छु म हेलिकप्टरबाट अरू ठाउँमा हेर्न चाहन्छु
यदि यस्तो खालको अवसर पायो भने पक्कै यिनीको भविष्य पनि धेरै राम्रो हुन सक्छ
OneWeb's mission is to connect all the unconnected schools in the world, and there are many.
I can be a teacher. Yes, because I like this.
My name is Prashant Rai. Yeah, I'll try to make a satellite in my future life.
We're building the world's largest constellation of satellites. This will give students the tools they need to build any future they can imagine. We are here to give these kids a stake in our mission. They will choose the names of our first 6 satellites, and we will launch their school into orbit. We're launching more than just satellites into space. We're launching opportunity. Together, we can empower humanity.
I think that just really shows us how important it is to connect, not just schools, but people all over the world. I mean, I think that a lot of us take our very high-speed broadband for granted. We become dependent on our devices, and then when we don't have broadband, suddenly life is very difficult. And yet, lots of people around the world don't have it. Connecting schools, connecting hospitals, enabling all kinds of activities. It has to be a very, very important thing. We call this, sorry to interrupt you, but we often call this in the business bridging the digital divide, the sort of the haves and have-nots when it comes to the internet.
Exactly, and I think that's it's an incredibly important mission, and you know, as an engineer, it's...
All right, so Trillian just said, wait, was that last one Anchorage, Alaska? They don't have good connectivity? All right. While they talk about this, let's talk about internet in Alaska, because that is something I have firsthand experience with. Internet in Anchorage is probably okay. I remember that when I was in Anchorage, my hostel had Wi-Fi. I do know the speeds are kind of slow. So I was in Kotzebue, which is not the bush, but it is in a remote part of Alaska. They did say that there was a school in Alaska. They didn't say which one, but yeah, I was in Kotzebue, and yeah, the internet was really dicey, and I think in the end it is satellite internet, and all these homes get funneled into one, and then it goes up to the satellite. Kotzebue was also part of some satellite thing. Details escape me. I'm sorry, because I wasn't prepared to talk about Kotzebue today. But you can't get to Kotzebue by car. You can't get there by boat. You can only get there by plane. So there's a plane that goes around twice a day. There's a morning flight and an evening flight, and that's how you get in and out of town. There are things that are shipped by boat. Kotzebue has no port. They have to send a boat out to the big boat to bring those shipping containers to land. They don't really have a whole lot of cars. If I did see cars, if there were cars, they just simply weren't registered, meaning they had no license plates. And the person that I knew up there didn't own a car. He owned a ATV, all-terrain vehicle, four-wheeler. I think they all just call them... They all call all the ATVs by, like, one brand name in Kotzebue, and I can't ever remember what it is. So... yeah, no, the internet is terrible in some parts of Alaska. Like, there was workable internet in Kotzebue, but yeah, that is the only place I've ever been where my cell phone had zero signal, and that was the weirdest thing for a couple weeks, is my cell phone has no signal here. There were cell companies that did have signal there, but yeah, Verizon was not one of them. And yeah, not everybody lives in an igloo. Just putting that out there, Paranor. All right, back to, you know, our regularly scheduled programming.
1, 3, 5 et 7.
And we've had confirmation that the next 4 satellites have been separated. We've gone back into the range of the tracking station here at the Guiana Space Center. Some very happy faces. Huge congratulations to everybody involved. Congratulations to all the teams.
Thank you very much, and thank you to Ariane Spas for delivering them safely where they needed to go. This is for us at OneWeb and the communications teams the start of a lot of work, and we're really very excited to dig into it.
As I adjust the right slider. That's pretty awesome.
This is a good feeling. All the teams have
and
worked
as
very
Super
hard
Cowboy
for
says,
this
there
day.
are places in Central Oz that have no net, let alone cell phone
some of
connection.
them,
Yes.
Of course, going to be working continuing
This
to
is
work
indeed
very hard,
a
because
very
we're going to be
real
doing some
thing.
rehearsals, but before we talk about
A
that,
very real
David,
thing. So we're
this is
gonna
gonna
kind
be a
of
good
watch them
feeling.
celebrate. I tossed some Cheerios to
indescribable,
Tinker.
You know, it's
We'll
you
toss
work
some more
for a
to
moment for
Tinker.
years
To
and
Tinker.
years and years, and sometimes
Are you
you
ready,
think you're
Tinker?
going to make it, and sometimes you don't think you're going to make
Ready?
it.
Make it
And engineering is just you find
Because
the
yeah,
problem, you work
successful
through it, you
launch,
find the problem,
successful
you work through it.
separation,
And at
all
one
that
point
other
you
fun
look
stuff.
up and you realized I've
So-
solved all the problems that I needed to solve to get here. And
Yeah.
this is what I was trying to do all that time. You spent so much time
Journey
looking at the
started,
problems
hello,
and
with
you
all
forget to
these
sit back and look
low
at,
altitude satellites
this
in
is an
orbit. How about
amazing thing that
collisions
we're
for
building, and
launches?
this is an amazing
We
moment for
actually
us,
do a
and,
really good
we've
job
built these 6
of
satellites, and they're
keeping
now
track
orbiting the Earth.
of what is where. We already do a really good job of keeping track of what is where, and all of that's taken into account. They only launched 6 satellites, so this isn't the full constellation. They're talking they want to eventually get at least 600. I've seen everything from 600 up to just under 2,000. So, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of satellites, and there are a lot of concerns. DPI posted a really good link about it on Wikipedia, which I will post again for you in a second. And that. It is nice to stay up late. All right, I see DPI is headed off for the night, so good night, DPI.
And the orbiting of your
and yeah, we're pretty much gonna wrap it up. We've been going for a while, so I'm going to switch away from their celebration and mute it all the way so neither of us hears it. So yeah, we had a successful launch. We had successful separation. We talked about, you know, how and why satellite internet is important. We still don't know how much the price is going to be for the customers. Hopefully it will be affordable, and by affordable, I mean affordable in every sense of the word, not just, oh, $50 a month, which is affordable to somebody that has an income in the US, but is not affordable to somebody that has an income in Kenya. That's just too much. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. If you have enjoyed tonight's coverage, today's coverage, this morning's coverage, feel free to do a follow. You can support us by donating bits. You can support us by subscribing. You can support us by going and donating to our Patreon. All of this money right now goes to essentially pay for myself and a few other members of the team. Dr. Pamela is paying herself out of other funds. And yeah, I'd really like to keep doing this, guys, because this is fun. I'm thinking of all the other things I have to think of. So this has been a production in collaboration of Planetary Science Institute in beautiful sunny Tucson, Arizona, and Youngstown State University in probably really cold outside Youngstown, Ohio. So this is the last call for questions, so go ahead and @ me before you ask your questions so I can see it easier. If you ever miss a live broadcast, we back everything up on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, hey, you can join in the fun and join us live, chat with us live, play Astroneer with me live over on twitch.tv/CosmoQuestX. The X is where the science is. And yeah, if you want all the updates or, you know, in on the random Uno games, join Discord. So, Journey Started had asked what sort of equipment will be required to use OneWeb. They're talking about a terminal, and they said it would be easy for the user to use, but they didn't really show any pictures, and I haven't seen anything really concrete. So, I don't know, man. It's a very good question, and that's also part of the affordable bit of internet, is how much is this thing going to cost? And then how much is the service per month going to cost? So I do know they want to provide service to boats and planes, so whatever it is, it has to be essentially weatherproof for it to really work. So that's it. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions come in. Thank you all again for joining me and hanging out. Thank you to those that joined in and played Astroneer, because that was fun. We are definitely going to do more of that. Our next launch is Saturday? I don't remember. Our next launch is this weekend at some ungodly Eastern time zone hour, and we'll cover it. We're not entirely too sure who will cover it, but we'll cover it. There will be a launch bingo, so yeah, join in for the launch bingo if nothing else. So with that, I'm going to sign off and stretch my legs and find dinner because we've been talking about food for a really, really long time. So yeah, dinner sounds really good. Wherever you are in the world, have a great day, afternoon, morning, evening. Hey, wherever it is, have a good day. And I'm going to awkwardly roll the credits because that's what I do best. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.